Good greetings, everyone on YouTube, and welcome back to this Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition content creator interview. And today we're also joined by Lorenzo here. Feel free to say hello.
Hi,
All
hi
right.
everyone.
Right. Well, I have the honor to actually finally interview you along with Christopher today, and very eager and excited to do so because of quite a few nice questions for everyone. They're going to be the same one. No one is going to be different. And as said, feel free to answer them wholeheartedly and offer your honest opinions. Because I've played through all your campaigns as well, they were all fun. I enjoyed them. For some, it was just challenging, but on the other hand, it is still some nice dedicated work that you've did, and for that I'm grateful. And of course, the community too. I'll get to the first question then. The first question is, what sparked your interest in creating custom campaigns or scenarios? Was there a particular game or moment that hooked you, or a certain historical figure, perhaps community, that inspired you?
So first of all, pardon my English because maybe it's not very good, but hopefully you understand, no?
Of course I do.
And
It's okay.
um, and yeah, so for me, it's about, of course, because of the game, it's about nostalgia. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
for most people because I played it back in the days where when it was released,
Mm-hmm.
and I was already try to make some custom scenarios back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, I was a kid, so I lacked the proper skills, let's say. So it
Yeah.
was just about, yeah, playing a bit with the editor.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of jumped the HD phase, HD era,
Mm-hmm.
because I was doing something else. But I came back with DE, and I don't know, suddenly it all came together because I felt maybe more inspired. And as you said, you mentioned it was also about the fact that I was more. I felt like I had something to tell, like very specific about this history, historical figures. In fact, if you look at it, all my campaigns and scenarios are about late antiquity, and the Dark Ages,
Yeah. True.
which are not very much touched in this game.
True.
Like, what do you have about the Dark Ages? Yeah, yeah, you have Alaric and Attila,
Yeah.
and then there's like a jump to Tours, I guess,
True.
and there's not much. There's Devapala, Audit, maybe
True.
later, and so this game is mostly about High Middle Ages and later Middle Ages, but I'm very interested in the
Antiquity.
early part, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, it was very natural. Like I had actually, tell me if I'm going too long. No, I don't know if
No, no, you're
you want
free
to
to
go
go
on with it.
any. No, no. By all means, take your time. It's okay. Just feel free to, like I said,
Okay, thank you.
answer wholeheartedly. I will say they'll try to stay close to your microphone and then look away because at the time the voice went away. That's
Okay,
how I felt it.
yeah,
But I definitely agree wholeheartedly that people, in my opinion, tend to play the campaigns, especially custom campaigns, according to nostalgia and learning the history through this with some fun aspects. And I definitely also agree that there's lots of lack of late antiquity campaigns, which you've actually quite touched, for example, with Constantinople, not with the Ottomans, but then far past that, because Constantinople has been sieged multiple times and many people have
yeah,
failed or even attacked from the inside. Adrianople was also a fun one. Flavius, Claudius, Julian was also good. The Huns were nice. The Gestionberg is nice. And the one that I've definitely also liked as well with Dihya Al Kahina was very nice as well. And especially the way that you've also portrayed the uh, the cultural over there, and also with the religious differences as well, with the story as well. It definitely was written very good as well. Sometimes it did feel very where long, lengthy. It could be done a little bit
Yeah.
short, in my opinion. But again, this is just something else, and I don't want to be turning this interview to a face-to-face conversation. But on the other
I
end,
know, but
hmm,
no, I'm aware of that. Yeah, at times I'm a bit
in
too
depth,
detailed, maybe.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's worse for Julian.
mm,
Like I really let myself go about details about Ammianus Marcellinus, know all the accounts and the sources.
mm,
And sometimes it's too much. I agree, but I don't know. I'm very much a freak about historical details,
yeah,
which the original game honestly doesn't do much because if you play like Attila, yeah, it's okay, but it doesn't give much context. No, some things are even invented, like Aetius giving up.
yeah,
So I wanted to push more about the historical aspect, but I know that sometimes you have to sacrifice some more playful aspect for it. And
true,
yeah, I mean, if you say that maybe I sacrifice a bit of fun even in the gameplay because
yeah,
I like to be realistic, no?
mm,
And yeah, I mean, it's a choice. Maybe you can discuss about the choice, but it's a choice in the end. And about Villa, I was very happy with it because there are not many African campaigns now or campaigns
true,
set in Africa, even both
yeah,
original and custom ones.
true,
And in that case, North Africa was still a part of the Mediterranean world in late antiquity, in the Dark Age.
mm-hmm,
And there's a famous thesis of Piran that the invasion of the Muslim actually caused the end of antiquity in North
mm-hmm,
Africa because rather than the fall of Rome, because who cares about Rome in Africa? No,
yeah,
it's more about the fall of Carthage, for example.
yeah,
It's a
and the Amazigh
big
people
part
as
of
well. Yeah,
yeah
and that is
the
something that
start
I've
of
hmm,
the
continue.
start of their conversion, no,
Yeah,
to Islam.
yeah, and that is definitely something you've touched quite nicely, and the way that you've also portrayed it was very nice as well. Like I said, the way that you've also worded on how even with that romance over there with two people and how they also were like different religions, not just like Islam but also Christianity, and how their tribes were also mentioned. Like I said, Amazigh is actually what they are, not Berbers, because again, as we all know, Berbers is meaning literally barbarian, and that is also something
Yeah.
you mentioned too, and is really something cool and stuff that we have also seen through the classics, even though it started to get very more lacking, and that is a nice touch that you've given, and even if it's just elaborately, yeah, I mean, it's all fine, and
Yeah,
that's just really cool.
to me, it's
Hmm.
never about a moral or political stance. Like, it's just that it will be silly to like Axel talking of himself as being a Berber
Yeah,
because it's not, and then Donim, no, he was calling himself Amazigh. So
yeah,
it was just that. It's not. It's again about realism, no.
yeah,
It's so it would be silly to refer them as Berbers.
true,
But yeah, there were different tribes, and it was very complicated. It was not just Christianity and Muslim. There were pagans, like there were Judaism,
true,
Jewish people, and actually, Dia, well, it's a semi-mythological figure because there are not many accounts, but um, they say she was likely a Jew. But I
mm.
made her pagan because I felt like it worked better with the plot
Yeah, it did.
because there was like she was like the traditionalist, no, like trying to keep alive the Amazigh traditions,
Ways, yeah,
and paganism is uh,
it's a
is
nice
always about
touch.
ethnic.
Yeah,
Yeah, even if it might be slightly historical incorrect, which no one ever lamented that. So maybe because it's not a well-known figure, no. So maybe well, I have a good I read a good review about that. Say I didn't know who Dia was, but your campaign made me very interested in it. Like
Hmm.
I started to read articles. I think this is a very good thing to say. A very good
Hmm.
compliment I received.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, should also definitely try to take the positive in your experiences, like I've also mentioned through our DMs conversations many times. Take what is positive and leave the negativity behind you and move on to the next one as an experience. And from there on, learn. And honestly, like I've always said, I have enjoyed it, even if they're not my way to play through, and even if it's challenging, they still offer the touch areas that are not touched with late antiquity. This is something that you and Christophorus have been definitely been offering, from the Roman times and all that to all other areas in the world, and unique civilizations which are slowly dusting away. And that's just really sad because we want to know them, we want to see them, we want to live through that nostalgia, maybe even learn from them on how they went forward. And the storytelling that you've done over here is definitely nice. I, though, myself, I do enjoy historical accuracy, and that is what I'm trying to implement, but I'm fine if it's a little bit sugar coated, let's say. And it is definitely something nice to see because, again, like I said, Islam has definitely risen, and it's for some a righteous religion, and for some a religion that has destroyed lots of cultures and artworks and all that. But that's just an opinion and
Yeah, but
something that
indeed,
we should be able to state in our opinion, and definitely something that we have seen in many games. Like I said, Dihi Al Kahina is one of your campaigns that shows it, but it is also something
mhm,
that can be seen with Uprenik, for example. I'm not sure if you know it, but that's also very much a nice, my favorite custom campaigns in the
mhm.
entire edition, where it was also talking about Zoroastrianism with a woman
Yeah.
in Persia, and that also explained quite a nice historical figure and story
Well,
that I really
Running,
enjoyed.
yeah, there are some similarities with Dia because they're both at the end, let's say, of antiquity.
True,
And
true,
yeah, and Apranic is even more legendary figure than Dia because at least
true.
I could find very little about her. And I don't know, I didn't want to portray Muslim bad or someone bad because that's not
By
my
all
point.
means, by all means, I don't think you point them bad. You just gave your
Mm,
opinion, and that is something, in my opinion,
ah,
that everyone should be able to be entitled with, and no one should
mm,
feel offended. And if they feel offended, we'll say sorry. But this is just a
mm.
point of view, and everyone should be entitled to their point of views. And that is what I think you did good. You have not really offended anything, but that's just again my opinion.
Well,
Uh,
there are some very, let's say, jokes that could be considered offensive, but I think while you're playing, people will not notice them.
yeah,
And in general, I'm not famous enough to receive backlash, no. So
yeah,
so people so people will just not care because that's
yeah,
not how it. In the end, Muslim, the way I portrayed it, it's actually more positive than in Apronic, if you think about it, because in
yeah,
Apronic and also in the other Gurjar campaign she did, I don't remember which one was, but Muslim are always negative.
yeah,
So what? While in my campaign, Muslim, I'm not. They are like goofy because I wanted to make them like that, funny,
yeah.
But for example, I'm still converted to Islam, like
True.
even historically. So the struggle in the plot is not about religion. It's more about being able being able to deal with the fact that you're facing someone who is stronger than you, and
Mm-hmm.
you need to come to terms with it at a certain point. So
True.
Axil was able to do that. He converted, and but he got killed later, no?
Yeah.
While Dia represent the stubborn resistance, no? But
True.
well, if you read the plot, you can see that even if she's the protagonist, I don't have the greatest admiration towards her. It's quite apparent because, of course, it's over-constructed because she's an early mythological figure. But what I wanted to represent is the fact, indeed, that idealism can become tyranny at a certain point. Even if you're claiming you're defending your land, your people, but what's the point of defending your land if all your people die? Is the point.
Yeah.
So Axil was more realistic. I wanted to depict this clash between two different mentalities. No, Axil was more pragmatic, more
He was more
concealing in a
rational.
way.
He was more rational compared to
Yeah, maybe yeah,
Dihya, who
maybe
was
more rational.
superstitious. She was more
Is the
superstitious.
anti is the anti Joan of Arc that I will
Yeah.
define the
Yeah.
It's like Joan of Arc. Yeah, you can see Joan of Arc as a good person, no? Because you can see, oh, she struggled for England, if for France, sorry, against English. But how many people died for that?
Yeah.
So the point is always, I don't know, ideals are free, but then reality makes you pay a cost for
True.
your ideals. So that's the point. That's the philosophical point, apart from the historical and gameplay aspect. But I care very much about these
Yeah.
philosophical aspects.
Though I must say, we do compare two interesting figures. I must say, though, Joan of Arc has been able to actually uh, reach a goal, basically. She has accomplished greatness for France. Dale Kahina has not really been able to accomplish. This can be, of course, argued on why and what. But
Mhm.
if we're gonna say on why, I think it's just pretty much because the Amazigh people over there just couldn't you know beat the overwhelming Arabs over there, while the
Yeah,
French were able to overwhelm the English, even if there were more wars later on. But that's just all different politics. But yeah.
and
Um,
that's
And one thing that is very certain too, that both of these figures were superstitious, be it with their for their religion or for their ethnicity, um, but both have played a role into what we call as in opinions and thoughts and so on.
yes.
Um, but again, I think you still did great, and I'm gonna just move to the next question, and this question will be
Sure.
two. Where do you find the most inspiration from? Perhaps certain games or books, movies, or real life events? That's what I want to touch, especially since you seem to be very passionate on the ancient world and late antiquity. And as you've already mentioned too, you have been doing your own research accordingly on what you found about Dihil Kahina or her husband. Like,
Mhm.
where do you exactly find those sources yourself? Like, is it like any books that you read through, or you know, movies or so?
So, there's a lot to say. Well, I've always been drawn to late antiquity and dark ages because, well, I like everything that feels dark and decadent.
Mm,
That's very trivial, but it's true. Like, if you ask me about proper antiquity, like, I don't know, the early Roman Empire or the Achaemenid Empire or Alexander the Great, I'm not very knowledgeable about that, and I care
mm-hmm,
less about that.
mm-hmm,
But about late antiquity, so the third century, more or less, from the third century to yeah, the Ages, no? It's because I see. Well, nowadays historians say that it was not that decadent, but I don't know. I stopped just at the aesthetical level because I'm not an historian, so I don't care about saying what is true or not. No, I care
mm-hmm,
more about my approach is more artistic. No, I care
mm-hmm,
more about telling a story. It's not well if you read my story and you think that I don't know, Dia was really like that, it's not my fault. Like because that's a story, of course. So the words I'm putting in her mouth are like something I'm coming up with in part. So you shouldn't take that so seriously. It's not like an history book. That's my point. So for example, even Kuzaila Aksil was not the husband historically. We are not even sure they ever met. So that's something I made up,
Mm-hmm.
basically, because it worked well with the plot. This is all just to say that I focus more on the artistic aspect and, again, the philosophical one. Oh, I took
Okay.
inspiration a lot from philosophy. Well, Julian is about a philosopher, was
Yeah.
a philosopher before being an emperor,
Mm-hmm.
and in general, even about the current climate I'm living. Like, I feel we live in a very decadent world. Personally, I feel like we live. Sometimes I even say late modernity to draw a comparison. No,
Yeah.
but in the sense that we're getting poorer, we're getting more depressed, we're getting a lot of things, and I
Mm.
feel this may be just my nostalgia in general. I feel like life used to be better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, this is not something you need to be true or not. It's just a feeling, no? So it's
Yeah.
just something you feel, and this is what artists do, no? They put their feelings in. There can be truth in feelings, but it doesn't necessarily have to be logical truth, no? That's the difference.
Yeah.
So again, no one will ever complain about me maybe doing something wrong historically, but even if it was because it's so very specific, maybe most people don't even know what I'm talking about. But even if someone will complain, I'd say this is just a story. It's not. It doesn't have to be realistic or correct or appropriate. It's just like, of course, people of those time would think completely different from the way we think now. They would say, "Oh, this guy's a barbarian." That doesn't mean I think that Goths were barbarian or anything like that. It's just what they think, like realistically,
Yeah.
So that's also the point, no?
True.
And where I draw inspiration, well, yeah, history, philosophy, and yeah, real life, how I feel, even very obviously.
Yeah.
And so I'm very. That's where the passion come from because if you deal with how you feel about something, it's always about passion. No, it's always and it will always come out something that is love it or hate it. No,
Yeah.
because it depends if you feel the same as the artist did or if you don't. If you don't, you'll probably hate it. And I'm sure there are a lot of people that hate my what
S-
I do, and it's okay.
Now, I don't think people hate specifically what you've created. I think to say it flatly, I think the way it works or have to
Yeah.
be forced into dealing it with it that way, and that they cannot even deal with it. I think that's what they really struggle with. Well, I personally, but I don't hate it. It's just a really frustrating time and all that. But yeah, other than that, again, your works are definitely cool and all that. It just might need some
Yeah.
adjustment, in my opinion. Um.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think we can move on to the next question then. We're gonna go to question 3. Can you tell us about one of your favorite creations, your own one? Like, which one would you say is the most favorite one?
You mean scenarios and campaigns?
Yeah, from your own, the one that you have created in your. Which one do you like
Uh,
the most?
well, maybe I don't know. It's hard between Julian and Dia
Okay.
because well, Constantinople. I know that a lot of people like because maybe because it just because it was the first now, so people usually stuck a lot with what you do first now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a bit immature. Also, Constantinople was originally planned as an Age of Empires 1 campaign
Hmm.
because it doesn't follow a charter, it follows a civilization, no? City.
Hmm.
So it's I don't know if you notice, it's a bit different now, even the story. And while Dee and Julian focused on personalities, which it's an approach I prefer, but there are pros and cons, but in general, I'd say Julian is very personal because it's about feeling like you're the last person in a world that is dying. So it's
Yeah,
something I very much appreciate because I feel like that sometimes nowadays.
yeah,
And Dia similar in a way because she was the last, very, very, very last, let's say, traditional pagan Amazigh before the conversion. So it feels, well, it's different. I have less sympathy maybe for her, but with Julian, even as a character, it's very personal. Like even more than Julian himself, the narrator of the plot, which was, Namasianus, no famous writer of late antiquity. And yeah, I had a player saying that the end of that campaign was a bit too tragic. At the
yeah,
point it becomes ridiculous, no, because it's so tragic, no.
yeah,
I think it's not even close to the tragedy of being the last of your kind in a way, no, the last. Imagine what person, no, that those guys must have felt
mm-hmm.
like seeing everything he believed in crumbling. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not even close to the tragedy, in my opinion. People say I'm too tragic. I say I'm not even close because it's like you're living doomsday
yeah,
and you can do nothing about it. So to me, that's very cool, very personal, very sad, but I like it.
yeah. I mean, it's something that you'll only experience once, of course, and it's definitely very interesting.
Yeah.
And people can have empathy or not, or sympathy. Some people, not many, will have it, of course, and others won't care, just like you said. But it's definitely still a nice perspective, and it's just something everyone should be able to be entitled. And opinions matter, in my opinion. But it is interesting, definitely, to know that you definitely liked the Alcahina and Flavius Claudius Julian. And I would definitely also agree with you that the Alcahina was definitely a nice one, too. Like I said, it was quite similar with how Upper Nick was, but
Yeah.
Upper Nick one, sorry to say that it still does not topple it away. Um, I'm going to move to the next question then. It will be
Yeah.
mission question 4. What's your most favorite campaign, but done from the classics?
Mm. In the classics, so you mean Until the Conquerors?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well, it depends. I guess maybe an obvious one will be Attila, no, because again, that I really like that climate of Doomsday, no, near Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And well, the plot was good, even if it is very simple.
Yeah.
And the gameplay is very simple, but it works in the end. Of course, I wouldn't design Attila that way nowadays, but I think they wouldn't either.
Mm.
Okay, because a lot of time passed, but it was very good, and I don't know, it kind of stuck with you.
Yeah.
Like other campaigns, well, they were all cool, like Saladin, Barbarossa, Joan of Arc. Oh, Joan of Arc, yeah, Joan of Arc was very cool. Like the plot, he
Yeah.
always moved me, and yeah, more the plot because the gameplay was a bit lackluster, no, compared to Attila. But the plot, oh my God, I felt so sorry for her. And and yeah, so those were the two I'd say. Um, the others were not quite like yeah, it was good, Montezuma, El Cid,
Mm-hmm.
but it was not quite moving, touching as Joan of Arc, and not as brutally effective as Attila.
Mm. Yeah, I personally, personally, I've also enjoyed Barbaros a lot as well, and I've also enjoyed El Cid a lot, in my opinion. The Huns one, yeah, I kind of agree with you, but it didn't really make me very too much moved for me myself then. I think Saltine was
Oh
also
no, yeah,
nice, and Montezuma definitely one that was also a very good classic, and Joan of Arc too. William Wallace was also around, but that's just basically a tutorial campaign, but still nice, simple. The one that most touched me, in my opinion, was definitely Elcid. That's also quite similar way, and has a nice climax of two other cultures and religions once again, and nice clashes, etc. too. If you have ever asked
yeah.
me,
In general, they were better at writing, I feel.
true.
Sample Studios. They were well, except I feel like only. Oh, I always. I don't. I think it's Lord Bassi, not Bassi, because they are names similar.
Yeah.
But I mean, the one who made Jadwiga.
Mm-hmm.
That is, Jadwiga is close to Joan of Arc. I say even better
Yeah.
because the plot is very good, gameplay is perfect. I enjoy even Pyrrhus. It's not classic,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
when he make a campaign, you see the difference. You see, he has something artistic going on, like philosophical, even. I'd say similar to me in a way.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't draw much inspiration because I was already doing my thing before, so it's not I'm like, trying to copy him. But we have something similar, like maybe philosophically or the humor kind of thing, and I really appreciate that
Yeah. Me too.
personally.
I agree. I'll move to the next question too, and there will be five. What is your most favorite custom campaign scenario? It can be your own, but I prefer actually you name someone else aside your own because we already mentioned one
Mhm.
of your own, the classic. And if you had to pick, who else's custom campaign and or scenario would you pick if you have the chance?
A
Let's
single
say,
scenario must be a
or a
single
campaign,
scenario.
or it can be a campaign or a scenario, no matter.
Hmm. There are a lot like interesting one. You say Apronic,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess they're very famous, like Apronic, Philadelphia, or so I don't want to name always the same. Cat Scientist is another.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like. I know most people didn't, even Orlu, I think. The one about Aegeus by Manuela Capuche, about that siege, I don't remember where. I think it's scenario 3, where all worlds end, something like that was called. Where you're sieged by Germans and you have to resist. You have even galleys with scorpions. No, you can take scorpions out of the galleys so they won't shoot anymore. But you
Mm-hmm.
have you have to make a lot of decision, no?
Yeah.
And I know many people don't like it because it's very maybe it's a bit similar to my scenario. Like it's very different. Like you need to adapt a lot to what the creator wants you to do.
Yeah.
So you need to read it, to remember, to understand. So I can see why people don't like it, but it's also what makes it so unique. And another company of him, I never hear being spoken is Mehmed Conqueror, which is
Mm-hmm.
even harder probably than a genius.
By the
And the
Winged
scenario about
Zaw?
taking, hmm?
By the Winged Zaw, the Mehmet one?
No,
Or.
no, the one by also by Manu.
Huh. Okay.
I think he took down it because I don't know why, but he took it down.
Yeah,
But I
because.
remember the second scenario about the fall of Constantinople. It was very like intense. Again, he makes very hard scenarios. I think sometimes even harder than mine. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's rewarding to me, like because you're not just playing a random Age of Empires, no game. No, there is random map for that. No, so it's more complex, and I appreciate it. And also, of course, Christophorus, Julian, not Julian, sorry, Julius Caesar. I
Yeah.
really like the second part
Hmm.
more
True.
more than the first and the third. And also the scenario, it's like a bonus scenario. the one about Asterix and Obelix was
Yeah.
mostly a bonus, no fun scenario, but it was very, but it wasn't serious, but in the end it's serious because it's very like
It
giant
was
and you have a lot of things
it
to do, very expensive,
it
very
felt like
good.
very passionate. It has a very nice storytelling
Yeah,
in there, and there's like lots of mixes of a little bit of history and a little bit of LARPing, and different streamers inside it. Like what
yeah.
was his name again? Gonyo in what was it called? What was his name? Damn it! The Spaniard, the good old Spaniard. What was his name?
And I don't know. Well, there are a lot. There is. I would have a hard time pointing you a single one because there are some, not many, because there are not many creators in the end. I think there could be more. I think
Well,
I
I
hmm?
think there's not many creators who play through custom campaigns and or scenarios. I think there's a lot of, um, how should I say, competitive players more than custom campaign and scenario creators inside this
Yeah,
community.
no, definitely.
And that's what I think. But I was trying to say that in the Asterix and Obelix scenario thingy, Christophorus gave a shout out to Memb because he was there inside too, and it was quite fun. That was the Spaniard that I was trying to mention. Shout out to him, of course. And aside from Ornu, who again just barely plays much custom campaigns and scenarios lately.
It was our last hope, like in Requiem for a Dream. The woman waiting for go on TV,
Yeah, I
people
mean,
calling always to mothers.
yeah, I mean that is for modders, but that's just kind of leaves me out because, in my opinion, like I've already also mentioned to many people before, like, hey, I'm here even though I play to modern
A
difficulty.
lot.
But that is something that I've also picked up as well, just to show that it's not an insult to play a lower difficulty and try the campaigns on that out, to inspire the community to even try it on this and then still have fun playing through any custom campaign and scenarios instead of constantly doing hard difficulty, which is still saddening to see because I feel like there's a little bit of a gym rat mentality. Um, but if you can do it harder,
I'm very sorry. I'm very grateful for you to have this
mm,
chance because yeah, as you say, there's a bit of maybe a lack of community and
yeah,
it's a bit everyone for himself maybe, but I've been reminded that it didn't used to be like that in the HD days where there was
true.
more of an
It
active.
is
I was I wasn't there unfortunately. So what I know is that right now there really isn't a community, like
true,
yeah,
and
Europe. It's not because Orlo is better than you. It's just that he has more view, no? So you ought to be broadcasted by him because he will show all this campaign. But yeah, there is not much movement around that, so it's a
yeah,
bit sad, no? And that's why I say to you that it feels like a waste of time sometimes because it's like nobody cares and
I don't think it is a
whatever,
waste of
no?
time. I think it is just it will consume a lot of time. I think that is the thing.
Yeah.
And I think it is also a matter of who likes what, and very people are very selective, and that there's a lack of putting certain things into spotlight, be it like custom campaigns or certain content creators. Like even I personally struggle to have my name put out as well, be it people because they like me or people who do not like me, or people who see me very offensive, or people who, that's it. But like I said, I'm still not going to stop with this passion project of me, and that is why we are also here with this interview, in hopes to inspire people also to try out creating costumes or try out to reach to you guys and have a talk with it, even if it's just like, hey, how are you doing, and thank you for creating this. Hey, I just had difficulty in this. And even if it's just to bring you guys to the spotlight. That is what I'm trying to do. And by all means, I'm the guy. I'm not the white knight in a white armor. I can have my own flaws too. But that
But
by all means,
I was very happy when you said to me about the interview because I'm very
hmm
shy actually. But at least I thought, oh, at least there is someone who cares now.
yeah, I know, but
So
it is. I'm trying, and even with a small community of more than 2K and views, which are not much, because again, the algorithm is a bitch. But I do try, and that is what we do for.
yeah, thank you.
Uh, August. But by all means, you don't need to thank me. I will thank you as well, and because we
Mm,
are focusing to have fun with the community, and that is what we all should be able to do inside this. Because, like I said, I mean, like you said, in HD edition, people also play through, for example, other ways instead of the Steam platforms where people usually play through Game Ranger, for example. I remember those days,
yeah,
or and downloaded custom campaigns through the AOEK
yeah,
Heavens
yeah,
platform and
yeah.
all that, and tried that. And I've not really done too much content at that time. I remember that I actually
Mm,
started doing Definitive Edition when it was coming on Steam, and HD Edition too. I did those there, and yeah,
mhm.
but you know, we're just gonna do what we can, and we'll inspire everyone
Yeah,
and try
sure.
to do it and have fun all the way through. Like I said, you can even check out through my old videos as well. Not always much views, be 10, 20, sometimes 1 or 0, sometimes 1K or 2K, sometimes even 10. That's my most highest. But hey, I still won't be stopping even if I die eventually. But that is what I think you should do, and that is what you guys are dedicated to, just like you are with your writing in your stories, with your creations, and just like how others are very creative. For example, Christopher's with how he makes his custom campaigns in certain ways, or and he has a like a nice chemistry. Like I've also spoken with him too, with for example Ozzy, who's also has a nice Discord
Yeah,
with other creators. Shout out to those guys and you, of course. And that is, I think, touches and tickles the community from, hey, wake up, there are things here. And that is what I think should be
I hope.
done.
I hope.
Yeah, and that is what should be done. Um, I will move on to the next question, which is number 7.
Sure.
Have you collaborated with other creators? If yes, what tips would you give for a successful partnership in the community? If no, would you be up for collaboration?
That's a tough one. Well, to me personally, I'm a very uncollaborative person. So, not because I'm evil or anything, but it's just that I have a vision in my mind, idea that it's so
Mm-hmm.
specific, no?
Yeah,
That it's very, I find it very, very hard to do
explain.
things by partnership. Like even right now in my real life, I'm doing something similar in another field, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so hard because it's like I think it will need it to have maybe I have too much big of an ego. I don't know. Like
Uh,
sometimes I wonder how could people make rock bands? I think because I tried that too, but it never worked. So I'm more of a like lonely artist because it's very hard to when there are big personalities like 3 or 4 or 5. Like how can you compromise? No, you want to have something, another one want to have something. So I think there are people that are more okay with that and like they can do collab. But in my case, maybe I would enjoy it actually, but I don't know if I will be able to. Like that's
okay.
my problem.
Uh, and I don't think it's a problem. It's just a preference, honestly, and that's you're allowed to do
Yeah.
that. No problem. Okay. No, that's clear. Mission 8. I mean, mission question 8. What advice would you give to someone who just starts out as a custom campaign or scenario creator?
Mm. Don't start. No,
Yeah.
well, to be serious. Well, it needs a lot of time. So I'd say try
Be-
to do things like don't try to be like me. Don't try to force too much into it, like or be too ambitious at first.
Mhm.
Like I remember when I designed Dia, I was oh I want to make the hardest custom camp, and I want to make how people will find it hard, but we also find it funny. And no, they didn't. And so you have to, I'd say, try to make it as easy as possible, at least on
Mhm.
standard. Even if you think it's too easy, or in the end, it doesn't matter because people will complain.
Mhm.
So I'd say do that. And because it's better than having to revisit your campaigns later, like I'm doing now, because
Yeah.
it's like doing the same work twice,
Yeah.
and so it's completely pointless.
Mm. Nah, it's not
So you have
pointless. You're
to,
just polishing it. It's okay.
yeah, yeah, but it's a lot of time. It's really a lot of time. Like Julian took me 1 year, one
Yeah.
whole year, and Dia took me pregnancy, 9 months.
Yeah.
So, and then
But
yeah, you get compliments, but you also get insults.
yeah.
Uh, no mo no money, of course, no fame, nothing. So if you want to do it, you have to, well, of course, really passionate. Like you really have to want to do that.
Mhm.
Almost, you have to be almost mad about it, I'd say. But it's a bit a mad love affair. Like, yeah, you love it, but you don't get much love back. Let's say. So
Yeah.
you need to be conscious about that,
Mhm.
and yeah, and to be like to lessen your ego a bit, because it's not something I like to say or to do, but unfortunately, like everything in life, you need to compromise in the end. So
Yeah.
yeah, you need to do that.
Yeah. No, I understand. I think you're still fine, honestly, and I think you might have regretted the flaws that you made inside things, and now you have to like I said, you're polishing it now, and consumes a bit more extra times. But I think it will be at the end, it will be rewarding, even if it's not just the amount one would have expected. Sometimes it can be more, sometimes it can be less, but I think it's just still an experience that you'll be having, right? And I think that's the most important thing to do, and that everyone, like you've said, they should be ready to put in quite a lot of time, and don't be starting from like, I'm gonna create a massive great thing. No, start with simple,
Yeah,
see how that works out, and then go forward, I think, as you've.
yeah, you need to be humble. Like maybe I wasn't humble enough at first. I tried to do something very complex, very hard,
Yeah.
and yeah, it doesn't really
I,
work. So
I mean, you still like see it also like this way. In my opinion, I think you've still been very ambitious, and you still have still accomplished quite a lot. And like I always also say, whenever you create something, you can always take it into your portfolio and you show it off to others. Like, hey, I created this, I made this, and that's something that the average person cannot make. And there's not to sound very degrading towards others, but I think that is something you could be proud of, as I've also mentioned before towards us in the DMs. Um,
yeah, I wish I could think the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad to think that we're thinking alike. The next question will be 9. When you design a scenario or campaign, what comes first for you? Gameplay wise, challenge, storytelling, historical accuracy, or fun, and why?
Well, maybe fun is the last thing. And no, not because I'm against fun, of course, but because I don't know. To me, fun is more about. Well, I'm an old school guy. Maybe I used to play very old games where, but very difficult games now because maybe kind of clunky, but I don't know. I grew up with that kind of games. No, even Age of Empires maybe was one of them. It was a bit hard, no, a bit harsh, at least compared to nowadays. And so my mentality was shaped a bit in the fact that if anyone is wondering why I make things so hard, it's because I think there's something rather than fun, something rewarding when you
Mm-hmm.
win something that is hard. Like I think it's wrong to make, for example, the Sassanid Empire something easy to take out. No,
Yeah.
it's even irrespectful in a way. No, because or Muslim or whatever. Now you're facing. It's not like you have to win it because it's just a game. Yeah, of course it's just a game. No, it's not you're facing the Roman Empire. No, but I think if there's some realism in that, like if you struggle, at least that's my mentality. When I was a kid, I was playing. No, I was struggling. There wasn't internet. No,
Mm-hmm.
so if I have to win something, I have to do it by my. I was left my own devices. No, so yeah, it was frustrating, but with time, I know it sounds like your grandma talking, but it's like if you have the patience to go through that, to do further attempts, yeah, it's not you don't get immediate satisfaction, but it's the difference. It's the difference between I don't know, doing drugs and trying to do something with your life. No, doing
Yeah.
something with your life takes some frustration, no? Because you have to be ambitious, you have to work hard, you have to reach goals. And I think it's the same with games. No, it's not. Of course, there are games that should be relaxing and fun, and it's okay, you know. But sometimes it's okay if you have to struggle a bit because it means that there's a bigger reward, no?
Yeah. You're
Or
achieving
at least,
something.
yeah, at least one of the best compliments I received from a player. It say that your campaigns are different in the sense that like they're not designed just to have fun, play a game. Like it's more about an experience. And yeah, they're incredibly hard sometimes. But the more they are, when you beat them, you feel like a king. No, like you really did something. You really achieved something. You really defeat the Muslims. You really conquer the Romans. I don't know, like. Yeah, in that sense, I feel like him now. I feel like when you struggle against something, of course, it must be reasonable. No, it doesn't have to be impossible. But when it's reasonable, a bit of struggle and difficulty, it makes the achieving even more important, I'd say, even if it's still a game. So sometimes I should remember maybe that, no?
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and yeah, I definitely think about historical details,
Hmm.
not too much. Like, for example, in Julian, I renamed all settlement and cities and forts according to, I don't know if you notice or if players notice, but I really try to be consistent. No, like there's the fort of Mogontiacum, of Sindara, or Singara, and so I try to be realistic a bit, and also in the dialogues. Again,
Mm-hmm.
in Julian, especially the first scenario, if you remember, you go through philosophy classes and you meet a lot of philosophers, so you really feel like this. My attempt is to make you feel an experience, like you have your villa with your slaves, yeah,
Yeah.
and you go to study philosophy, and then you become an emperor. I don't know. I feel like at least while I was testing it, I feel like there's an atmosphere, no? Even when you
Yeah.
have the cards,
You felt
the religious
lively.
cards. Yeah, at least I try. No, even dialogues that are can be a bit verbose. Yeah, I know, but it's because yeah. Also, another thing I do is, if you notice, I never make the main character speak while you play.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's silent. Like
Yeah.
Julian, Axel. because I want it's something that old games used to do. Even old Age of Empires, like Joan of Arc, never speak
Yeah.
in game because it favors, or this that's my idea. The idea the
The
creators had at the
imagination.
time. Yeah, it favors also impersonification. No? Like you are Julian, you are doing that, good or bad. No, at least that's the idea. That maybe someone didn't care or didn't notice that. But yeah, there's a lot of detail. The problem of details is that sometimes they go over your head and you don't notice, but there's a lot of care. So I would say atmosphere in my case and the overall experience, like the plot also, the it's more than a game. That's my idea. I'm really trying to make a work of art. That's the idea. Even if it may sound a bit snobbish, I don't care. Honestly, it's what I'm trying to do, and I don't want to make just a game, no, because there are a lot of games. A
Yeah.
product. I want to make something that sticks with you, no, if you give it the time.
True. Yeah, that's true. You want to leave like a legacy behind. Everyone wants to leave their mark on the earth, for example, in any way they
Yeah,
could with their
Italy.
passion, and
Yeah,
that's what, in my opinion, should be encouraged to go forward with and done if it's just not very damaging for all of us, of course. No, that's pretty clear. That I'm gonna move then to the next question, and it will be what tools, triggers, or editor features do you rely on the most, and which one do you wish were improved?
oh, there's a lot to say. Well, at first, in here's a crazy thing. In Constantinople and Dia, and even in Adrianople and Bogastisburg scenarios, I designed those scenarios without AI. I think I'm the only creator that was that mad enough to design all enemies just using triggers. So all your the enemies you see moving in those maps are moved by me, by triggers.
Oh,
So of course that is hell on earth to do because you have to basically imagine and foresee how players will react. But I think I can do quite well. And yeah, and basically you have to program the artificial intelligence without artificial intelligence. But
yeah,
I did that because at first I was very lazy. I couldn't be bothered to learn about program AI. For Julian, I did, but I did only for a reason because I couldn't tell them to attack walls. So if I had to add a trigger, if I were creators, I would add something to allow attack walls, or in general to to tell the AI, even when they don't have a proper AI, to tell a way to tell them to attack certain buildings, or for villagers to I don't know, cut certain trees. You can do that right now, but only if the object is already in the scenario editor.
yeah,
So if there's a gate or a wall that is already built, you can tell the AI to just attack that wall or that gate. But for example, if you build a new gate or a new set of walls, the AI gets completely confused. So it's either that or you indeed program the AI to attack walls, and then they will attack every set of wall they see, which is pointless, no? So I don't know if it's clear, but you have when you play some scenarios and you see the AI attacking walls, no, without a point, like there's nothing there. Why you're attacking walls? It's because the way the AI function right now, it's that you can only tell them through a line of code to attack walls or not. If they do, then they do, and they attack every set of walls they see. The
yeah,
only way to To circumvent that is to use triggers again, coupled with AI, which is what I do in Julian. Like when they're attacking walls, you can use a flare to tell them to attack everywhere else. I don't know.
Yeah,
And usually they will move on and stop attacking walls like stupid. No?
yeah, that
And
works better.
but it's a yeah, but it's a problem. So the solution, in my opinion, I think it's wrong both to rely only on triggers and only on AI. You should use both. And I think it's something they understood with Chronicles. In Chronicles, I see they use both AI and triggers. So they understood that, I think. And that's
Yeah,
what I do right now. Before, I should add AI even to Constantinople and Dia because right now, if you boot a set of wall, they're fucked. Like they can do nothing. They are you just stop them because they don't attack it.
yeah,
So that's a problem. And but again, I didn't know how to do AR properly, so that's what I had to do. And it's still good enough, I think, because in the end they're quite competent. I think maybe except some situation that are borderline. I mean, you can't foresee every single situation. No? That's mental, no? Like I'm not a prophet, no. So
no,
um, so if a unit gets stuck or go to the other side of the map, I mean, I can do something about that, and usually I do. But there are borderline cases where how could I know, no? So because I know that sometimes people get angry at that, no, because I mean I'm only human. So I try to foresee everything, but especially because I make so complex maps, no, there is always something that creep through my mind, no.
yeah, it can be really frustrating. I think I agree with you that this is something that definitely needs to be addressed and an improvement for the developers to do. And yeah, it's still
Yeah.
amazing that you've also made lots of these campaigns without AI. That's definitely ambitious. Um,
Oh,
so you've definitely used a lot of triggers as well. That's really passionate of you.
yeah.
Um, as for the next question, has player feedback ever made you rethink or even redesign a scenario? And can you share us an example?
Oh, well, a lot because
Hmm.
well, initially maybe I was more resistant because again, it was my ego. It was more about I want this to be that way and why not. I remember when again a player told me I would get rid of trebuchet in the very first dia scenario when Muslims attack you,
Hmm.
and there used to be trebuchet, so it was kind of hard, no? But and I was resistant to that because I say, oh, I don't really have a justification. I just stubborn. I just want to be troubleshooting. But in
Hmm.
the end, well, it was so hard that I just decided to put trebuchet only on art. So only on art they train trebuchet, and on moderate they train mangonels, and on standard not even mangonels.
Yeah.
So not even rams, I think, which is super easy. But it's still too hard for most people. And so again, I guess the question is, what is the line of where this is not negotiable? No. Well, I think every creator has a line where there are things that are just not negotiable because if you don't have that, well, at that point you're just an artificial intelligence. No, you're just doing what others tell you. No, and I don't think that's good because in the end, at least my understanding is that your role is like you're an artist, not in this. So you have your own vision, your personality. It would be unfair to completely just do what others tell you, know.
Hmm.
So there is something that I would never change. Like I'm very resistant right now for what concern plot or dialogues or general experience, atmosphere. The thing I said before, no. The thing that I think are core to the experience. I like if someone say, "Oh, get rid of the slavery mechanic in Julian," I'd say, "Oh, shut up." I mean, that's what it was. No, slavery exists, and so why not? And but the what concern more gameplay aspect, like I don't know, simply this is too hard, this is too easy, even even if very rare that someone say this is too easy. But in that case, yeah, I can compromise because in the end, I mean, it's just I just came to terms with that. It's not, it doesn't detract too much from from what is my vision, no? So yeah, it's mostly about the plot and how I want certain scenarios to work, no?
Hmm.
Like if you suggest me to completely obliterate a scenario, like and we make it. Of course, I'd say no. It's just what it is. I can help you. I can come toward you, your request, but I can't completely redesign it because I mean, just do it at this point, no?
Yeah, no, and no, it's by all means, it's not to tell you ever to remove a scenario or something. It's always just like some
Yeah,
people offer. There's different the point of people offer whining feedback or constructive feedback. For example, like you
yeah,
mentioned, like hey, trebuchets. I mean, some people can mention, for example, just to brainstorm, has trebuchets ever existed in late antiquity? For example,
yeah,
or
yeah,
hey, it's just too difficult for an average player. Why not make it a little bit easier so that more people can play? Because, like I always say, if a campaign, a custom campaign, and a scenario is too difficult, no one would play it. And that means you're not getting
yeah.
anything on the spotlight, and that also causes you not to get anything downloaded. And of course, you as an artist, you're not going to get any recognition. And that is something that needs to be considered. But if you don't want to, then you're entitled to continue with that. But then you won't be really be successful. That's just,
Oh,
in
yes,
my
that's true.
opinion, a fact.
It's the it's the eternal struggle between artistry,
Yeah,
bit aristocratic, and please the people, and yeah,
yeah,
it's always hard to, but you have to draw a line somewhere, and
yeah.
it's
And
just
that
a matter
is
of where you draw it.
and that is something I personally am asking. Like, how have you dealt with this line? Have you been able to do this? And how should I say? Has anyone been able to even how should I say offer you this like ever? And that is
Yeah, I
the
push it back. I push this line back a lot in the time,
hmm,
because yeah, in the end, before doing Age of Empires, I was always into creative things, and everywhere, it happens everywhere that you have to. Yeah, as I said, it's the old question, like about how an artist should comply or should compromise or not.
hmm,
In this case, there are not money at play, so it's a bit different. But there's always the public thing. So in the past, where I was more, I say, idealist, maybe I say, oh no, I will never compromise, like edgy teenager, no face. Like I will never uh, care for money, success, and that kind of thing. I will make the noisier music ever because I don't care, no. But in the end, everybody hates you. Everybody thinks you're arrogant. You don't have money. You're starving. And in the end, you just simply can't. So becoming adult means also understanding this, and whether you like it or not, you just have to comply a bit.
hmm,
Because, well, in this case, there are no money at stake, so I could even say fuck it, and I make the most hardest thing ever. And but I don't know, it's hard to wake up and read a page of insults now. Maybe you know this since you're a YouTuber. And
yeah,
so at a certain point, it's even about mental issues, mental health issues.
no,
Like
I
I
mean
can't be hated by everyone, no?
No, I don't think you're hated by everyone. I think it's just that some people just still struggle with the missions, and I get so much frustration that just give up and trying and continue
Yeah,
to see what you've actually portrayed. For example, some people, like you say, as any artist, be it drawers or something, like in with uh, colors and all that. Some people just draw something and they try to understand. And if you don't understand what they try to feel you, offer you within the site, well, then just move on. Or others like, hey, I compliment this because the colors look very nice. Or hey, he painted a nice farm or a nice horse, and that is what they exactly like and can compliment. But if people can compliment your campaign and scenarios simply because they had so much struggles and that barely could enjoy
yeah.
playing it through, then there's definitely something that is not making it very work feel fluent, and that is what I, in my opinion, would definitely
Oh, you're
say
right. You're right.
and suggest. And it's not a matter of uh, how it feels like as an adult and all that, because that's how we all will eventually live through, and that's just a fact. But on the other hand, I think you're
Yeah.
still doing
Also
good.
because,
Hmm.
yeah. Sorry if I interrupt you. Also because in games it's a bit different than, for example, just writing a story. If you
True.
write a story, you can just, I don't know, if Julian was just a plot, and it's a lot of plot actually, but if it was just that, well, yeah, you can write in a way that is more like you can read it well, is more fluid, no? But in the end, the game is different because there are mechanical aspects, no? It's not pure art. It's like
Yeah.
there are mechanical aspects that have to work.
Yeah. And it
Oh,
has to be fluent.
your idealism get fucked at a certain point because yeah, I want this to work like that, but you just can't. Sometimes you just don't have the tools not to do it. Like I want to do something and the triggers don't allow it, no. So I try something very complex, like the switching mechanic in DIA3, but it's a bit clunky, because the game is not designed in a way that you can switch between
Yeah.
players. So yes, it's innovative. It's very different, no, unique, but I don't know. It's always like that. But it's like that in everything. Like even in music, you want to do something that push the boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
but
doesn't
for
work.
doing that, yeah, people we just don't like it. At the same
Yeah.
time, you
Mm.
don't have to completely comply now to people because otherwise you just make music, for example, in a laboratory, like
No,
it's
no,
a
that's
scientific
that's
product.
true. That's true. But I think there needs to be a certain middle way. You need to always
As
try to find a middle way that suits both
yeah,
you and the audience. Because, like I said, an artist without an audience is not an artist. An audience
no,
without an
well,
artist is not an audience. And that's just one
mm,
thing that needs to be considered, in my opinion. And like you say,
I
you
think
should.
that I
Mm,
would disagree with that because I think even if, for example, I don't know, Kafka wrote novels that nobody read, it would still be an artist and a writer. But in the end, it's pointless from a realistic stance in the sense that
yeah,
you don't have any revenue, neither in the form of recognition or money. I mean, you
true.
just live your autistic reality that you're a genius, but in the end, I mean, I still think you are, but it's pointless now because only you think you are. So it's,
Yeah. So that is something definitely needs to be considered because when
yeah.
you're trying to meet artists, you're trying to prove yourself, right? That you have something very ambitious, something that no one has even been achieved and able to. So when you do that, you need to also prove it to the others. And if you can't prove it and others don't see it, then obviously you can't. And that's why I'm still trying to say like, hey, if ever anyone has been saying like, hey, I've tried your work, I've seen it, but I've still not been able to beat through it, then there's definitely something that needs to be changed. And in my opinion, there's no shame. Like I always, that's why I played on the moderate difficulty, because I know I will be able to defeat the majority in hard difficulty. Because as I always say it, and I will still say it, there's always a problem with balancing, in my opinion.
Yeah. No,
and
no, I
that
know.
wise it needs to be a little bit adjusted, even if it's just
Yeah.
taking a step back. So
Yeah, yeah,
if you
yeah.
see like, hey, I'm a musician and I want to try it, play it as the way I want to, you're free to do it. But if the
Hmm.
audience says, hey, it's too loud, try to adjust the sound a little bit, and then the music will sound rightly nice into the ear. And that is what should be, in my opinion, considered. um but I think I'm going to move to the next question, and that's question
Yeah.
13. How do you approach balancing? Because this is what we have previously been speaking. The difficulty, so a custom campaign and a scenario is challenging, but still focus on the fun aspect for a wider audience. And that is something we've already kind of discussed, because, like I say,
Hmm.
the more audience you have, the more opinions you can
Hmm.
take, and the more fun you can
Yeah.
have, and also recognition. And hey, if someone is really going to be gracious, they can offer you money and support your work. Um, how have you dealt with that so far, in your opinion?
Well, initially, there wasn't even a balance because all difficulties were the same
True.
initially.
Mm-hmm.
But then, for example, the IA was just too hard, so I had to make three difficulties, no?
Mm-hmm.
Standard, moderate, and hard. It's still too hard. So again, it's always about trying to see what people ask you, and then you decide if it makes sense for you or not, and then you do it. I mean, I can see, I can see the case where someone will make noisy music on purpose to annoy people. It has been done. It was punk, no? So the problem is always you're not eating with it, and uh, and yeah, there's not much to say. It's just that even if you want to just do your thing, you can't because you always have this relational aspect where you have to, yeah, depend a bit on your audience, which is something I really dislike because I don't feel like I have to prove something to people. Like I do this like just because I like it, no?
Mm.
So, well, it's a problem, but in the end, you need to come to terms with it. And yeah, we already say that everything about it, I think.
Mm. Now, I think you don't need to like really prove something to anyone. I think what people are trying to do is try to see the same point of view of you. For example, like I said, you're
Mm.
making a story, you're creating an artwork, right? On a blanket paper or
Mhm.
just on the wall, you're like maybe using some paint or spray. You're spraying something and they're like leaving you a message. But if they do not understand you or don't see like
Mhm.
why you have painted or do not feel you, that's why I think you should just adjust it. Like I said, some people cannot take loud music because it's just too loud for them. Some people do not like, let's just simply say, metal because they don't find it a music. They want to hear maybe like core music or just rap or something or whatever pop you want to say. That's what they prefer because they find it. Hey, it's just the music is um at the same tone of the singer, and that's like sounds very nice to the ear. But then again, that's just a preference, and you are
Yeah.
entitled to have a preference by all means. But this is what I always try to encourage, is to also try to think, especially here in the Age of Empires 2 community, which is not very big,
Mhm.
to try to
Yeah.
think of a wider audience so that you can have more voice and so that you can always have, of course, more people be able to eat from the from the food that you cook.
Mhm.
That is what I'll try to encourage, and also stay with these questions, that whenever you
Yeah,
cook,
yeah.
try to make it a bigger portion so that everyone can enjoy that food, right?
Oh, sure. To
um
be or not to be condescending. That's the
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. As for the next question, how do you think? No, we have read it. I was just really reading to it. Oh yeah, no, didn't read this. How do you think you've been doing within the Age of Empires 2 community content creator community? And what would you tell your younger self if you were able to? That's another interesting one.
Uh, well, again, I'm very negative right now about
Mm-hmm.
my involvement in Age of Empires, so I would not say, I wouldn't sugarcoat it. And I
Mm-hmm.
would say to my younger self that I don't know, maybe I could have done something like that will give me something in exchange, like money, which I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because compliments are good and everything, and but in the end, you don't eat compliments, no?
No, it's just
So
momentary pleasure.
I would, I was just one of the people saying that it could have a monetization. I think I told you even in
Yeah,
privately.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There could
DMs.
there could be a monetization for modders, but of course, no one will like it because me myself, I wouldn't like to pay for mods. At the same time, this is work. Like it takes a year, it takes months to do,
Mm,
and I know that a lot of modders do not agree with this because I spoke about this openly, and
mm-hmm.
they told me that they saw a lot of games ruined by monetization.
True.
At the same time, I mean, everything works with money, you know. So if I don't have that, what do I do? Like, yeah, I could do it for passion, like,
Mm.
and I will challenge everyone to say I don't do it for passion. But in the end, what's wrong with just letting someone living out of his passion, no? I
Yeah.
mean, there are people who sell, I don't know, their flatulence in bottle on the internet. So it's not we're asking to, at least I speak for myself because I know the community is against this, but it's not I'm asking like, well, it also feel bad to ask it because you feel like an homeless, no?
Mm.
But yeah, it's the starving artist problem, as always, I think. So
No.
in the
No.
end, right now you have a passion, and it really depends on people clamoring for compassion.
Yeah, but I feel.
And in my case,
Mm. Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, in my case, I don't do anything to draw compassion, I guess. Quite the opposite, because my maps are so hard.
Mm.
But there are people that encourage me. There is one player that encouraged me in trying, no, even
Yeah,
to
you
set up
should.
a patron. And but I don't know. In the end, it doesn't really work. So I don't like to make it mandatory to pay for mods. But I mean, who will pay something that is not mandatory to pay, no? And in the end, you're still having fun. You're still using a product. In the end, you're still, I don't know. I know I'm the only one thinking this, or barely the only one, because I got basically assaulted talking about community on the forum when I proposed this, because it was the time that Philadelphia released yeah, Victus and Vanquished. So I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's a scammer because he's selling his own mods." I mean, this is his work. What should he do?
Mm.
How can you blame it? It's just so, I don't know, almost a slavery mentality. You expect people to do something for you for free. I
Yeah.
mean, eh, I personally have a lot of criticism toward Philadelphia, but I mean, I don't blame it for wanting to cash a bit for what it worked for years, because
Mm.
all these scenarios are years of work.
Yeah.
I mean, so again, I'm a mother, so I feel him. Like I don't feel. I think people are a bit entitled on this aspect. Like play in general, consumers. Well, they reason with a consumer mentality. You know, they don't
Mm.
think that there's a person that is doing something for you. Like,
I
and it's
I
mhm,
think I'll disagree, and I'll need to hook in here for a second because I think it's not
yeah,
that the consumer does not understand the human, because this, of course, will cause hatred for you. That's why I'm quickly trying to hook in here. I think the consumer simply does not, how should I say, understand the situation that you're in. But I think no one understands in each other's situation. For example, currently we have been speaking about how your situation is and how the other mother's situation is on their money situation. But has anyone ever asked my situation, how I'm doing? I don't think so. You don't know my situation, for example. But that is something that we all people behind this PC screen are with our escapism, because we feel like strangers in the outer world. We want to come here for what reason? Especially behind the gaming community, for fun. And that is what I've always been trying to advertise. Well, not just advertise, but even advocate for. And that is why I'm telling you here right now and again. The mandatory importance for all campaigns and custom scenarios are meant to be fun. If they're not fun, you can be certain that no one's going to be consuming that. And now imagine yourself, right? If you put your videos as an artist on the Steam in the modding section and you're asking for monetization, do you think it will be sold? I don't think so. And that's just hard fact. And this is
Indeed.
nothing, and this is just a simple hard fact about that. There's also a
Yeah, yeah.
reason why people did not like Philadelphia's selling out, well, his campaigns into Victors and Vanquished. Why? Because they've already played it as a mod version. So why would they pay it and to buy it into Victors of Vanquished? Because they find it very pitiful that his time and effort simply reworking it a little bit and then putting it onto market is a waste. I think that's why the people are very furious about it, because his time and worth could be used in different things. And the modding section is there simply to put to all the other people who are very artistic and creative from, hey, show us that you can do better, because you or everyone else are not being funded by other companies to do better, or to be put on the spotlight. It is the same thing that why Forgotten Empires has been put on the spotlight by Microsoft and were able to flourish. It is the same thing why League of Legends took inspiration from the World of Warcraft community at the Hive workshop. That they have taken those ideas and grown big, and then other competitors came, for example, Dota, or even though Dota was the first one who came up with the idea, and that grew from Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne Battle.net. It is why Heroes of New Earth or other like MOBA games flourished, and that's an entire genre of its own. And that's why I'm trying to encourage you and other content creators, make sure your content is supposed for a wide community. Because if it is, you gain viewers, people, and that's how every YouTuber works, even I do, and Twitch streamers. But I'm not here to, show that I'm very ambitious. I'm here just to showcase them. And if people like it, they can. But that's not something you guys, as creators inside of Age of Empires 2, can do. Because if you do that, you'll be wasting your time. And that's just a simple fact, in my opinion.
No, no, in
And
fact, that's how I feel. And well, you explained basically free market.
yeah, and that
So,
is a free
in,
market that you should have tried to uh, taken advantage of. Because whenever you're in a free market, you're showing, hey, I have skill. And when you're inside that market,
um,
you're going to be able to be hired. And when you get
yeah,
hired,
I'm not.
you're going to get that 100 compensation back, and by
No,
tenfold.
I know,
Because if you
but
don't,
I'm not.
hmm,
Mhm.
you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to make this political, but I'm not against free market. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, free market doesn't kind of look at quality, but at quantity. So the
I.
problem with free market
Mm-hmm.
is that for example, you may have a YouTuber
Mm-hmm.
that is a millionaire, because
Mm-hmm.
he has a lot of view. What does he do in his videos? I don't know.
You
He
don't know.
just fart on people.
Yeah.
He just farts on people, and people find it funny. And he's
Mm-hmm.
millionaire.
Yeah.
Is
But
this
that's
right?
just
It's
but
not.
that's just people who like him because certain people who do not think too much and simply want to have a laugh and just go forward with. That's just not very, in my opinion,
Yeah, but the problem
productive.
is that people who, and I'm not talking necessarily about myself, but even in
Mm-hmm.
the past, maybe again, I made the example of Kafka.
Mm-hmm.
People who had something of quality to show, they can't quite go with it because they are not chosen by people. So I'm not saying, oh, let's trample down the free market, etc. But there is a problem that needs to be addressed in a way, philosophically. Like there is something that doesn't quite work in this
Mm.
mindset, in my opinion, because you end up just, again, you just give in to people. You
Yeah.
just give in to basically, oh, let's do what people want.
Yeah.
But
No, I
that's
I
not
mean,
always. Mhm.
true. No, no, no. I get what you're saying. You're trying to say you're giving, true, and you want something in return. But the reality also is that you cannot get always something in return. For example, whenever you try to plant something right on the earth and you seed it up, right? And you water it,
Mhm.
you spit the soil a little bit, and then you expect some plant to grow. At times, it will. And what happens, you'll just try again. You'll just try again. You say, oh, the soil is probably
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
It's the
yeah.
same thing that whenever you try to put in a seed, your passion for your work, it sometimes doesn't work. And that's just a simple thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's why you need to
What I
then
mean,
retry. And in my opinion,
yeah,
then if you want something in return, I think you need to also consider like if the people can, well, would buy it as well. And
yeah,
it's the same thing with YouTubers, right? There are many YouTubers who prefer actually only cash, 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 and still focus on that. And sometimes they're successful, sometimes they don't. I know many YouTubers who don't work for cash. You know what they work for? And also not for
yeah.
fame. They work for the good of the community, and they say frick you to the big guys because they're very bad, and they work to better the games. They don't accept the payment for advertisements for their
Yeah.
games, and they focus like, hey, you should
Oh,
use
I know,
that
I know.
money to make the game even better. And that is, in my opinion, what should be done. And this, by all means, in my opinion, not free market, but spreading joy, spreading cheer, and that is what should be done. And spreading joy and cheer is not always like, hey, that guy is gonna say thank you because I fed his stomach, or hey, that guy will say thank you.
No,
Simply, I
but
just gave him a massage on his back because that's what
no, the
I
problem is,
feel what you guys are doing,
no, the
right?
problem is,
Mm.
well, I don't see myself as a messenger, but the
Mm-hmm.
problem is more about, yeah, you can choose to not want to be a YouTuber that just cash in.
Yeah.
The problem is that sometimes in life you need it. Like we live nowadays with a mentality that, in my opinion, is it's not only free market, but it's also a Christian mentality,
Mm.
where artists have to work for free because they're artists. They're doing something spiritual. They don't have to expect money, you know.
Mm.
I mean, an artist is a human being. Like he has to eat, you know. So one way or another, if you want to do that, keep doing that. You
Mm.
just need to be paid. Otherwise, what you're saying in the end is only rich people can do
Mm.
that because only people who already have money can do artistic things
Yeah.
because they don't need money. And
True.
poor people, what are supposed to do? Just to
Yeah.
work and do art in their free time. And this is a problem. I'm not saying free market is wrong or Christianity is wrong or whatever. I'm just saying that there is something. I'm into something. I don't know what the solution is, but there's definitely a problem.
I think the only solution here is the first, that the free market is not an entire problem. It's just a choice that you have to make. And if you're making a choice, you're just gambling over here. But gambling is not very good as well. because that will just always cause you a loss, because that is just how gambling is. And making choices for, hey, you're relying too much on this little side, and that is not something that you should do. You should always have a plan B, right? Even an artist has a plan B for, like, hey, if I created this art and this art doesn't really sell well, then you're gonna try a different one. Then you're gonna try again and again. But if you say, like, hey, it doesn't work, I don't like it anymore, I want to try something else, then is that something you should do too. Because, like I said, if your art doesn't sell well in, and which is right now the downloads of the campaigns, then you should try to consider changes, for example, in the campaign, or just try to make a new one. And hey, if you're just having facing problems right now, that you have monetary problems, then I think, in my opinion, it should be suggested to try employment and work something else, and then come back over here and see if you're successful. And when you're
Yeah,
successful,
that's
you're getting
why.
a spotlight, and when you're in the spotlight, you'll be able to go, like I said, to the Forgotten Empire guys, who get backed up by big companies, and the people will like them.
Mhm.
But even they, in my opinion, like we have also spoken with Christopher's here in the beginning, they have also received quite a lot of critique on their DLCs previously. For example, with the Three
Oh,
Kingdoms
sure.
upgrades. That's why I
Yeah,
think
yes.
it is very important to consider actions carefully and try to offer adjustments, try to offer yourself a plan B to be able to save, face your problems, and not to push it to the free market or to a community, because they won't bite it. I won't even as well. We're living in a capital. Well, here in Netherlands, I'm living quite in a capitalist country,
Mhm.
and blessed be. And I can choose in the market what I want to eat. I can say, hey, I want to today eat a vegetable, an apple, or I can say, hey, I'm gonna eat a pear, or hey, I'm gonna eat chicken today, or I'm gonna eat meat today, and I'm gonna try to enjoy it. And when I purchase that product, I support my local farmer, for example, or the local industry. If I don't like it, I'm not gonna buy it and not eat it. And that guy is gonna get poor then. But then it's not up to my fault that he's getting poor. I'm gonna say, hey, it didn't taste well. It was bad for my health. It's the same thing for, I'm gonna say, hey, I don't like this campaign because it's too frustrating and pissing me off. And I can just then undownload it and not publish that work and not play it. And then you're gonna say, hey, why is not people playing my campaign? Well, why? Because there's certainly an error in there, and that is things that need to be addressed, in my opinion. And the
Oh, yeah,
addressing
yeah.
is by holding a mirror in front of yourself and see, hey, does the community like my work? And if the community doesn't like it, then you're gonna lend your ear, hey, why?
Oh, I know. I know it very well. The
And
problem is just indeed you don't have time anymore because
true.
you don't have money. So you can, for example, I have in mind million ideas for other campaigns, but
Mm,
I can't put my time in this anymore because
mm,
it's just a waste of time, economically speaking. I'm not rich, so I'm basically cut off the market. I'm
yeah,
not saying the problem is the market, or I'm just saying that the market doesn't favor, just favors quantity.
yeah.
So the point
I
is
think
all
it's the
about,
quality more. They
I
focus
don't
more on the
know.
quality, because the quantity
Mhm,
wouldn't make really sense. Because if it was the quantity, then today there will
mhm.
be so many rich people. I think then eventually you, Christopher's, Jade Vance, Hideouts, and everyone else will be already focused to be hired by by Microsoft, for example, or Microsoft. I mean, Forgotten Empires, basically. That you guys will be hired by them, and then you guys can be constantly pumping out things while they fund you with the money over there. And I don't think
Mm,
that will be ever happening, because they don't have the money themselves as well. And that's really impossible. And
I know,
people,
but
hmm, the,
the aspect where we don't agree, I feel it's like you assume that if people choose a product, it automatically means that it's quality. But that's not it's not always the case. I think it's pretty rarely the case actually. But in the end, it's what it is now. So we're just talking about that.
hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
what it is,
Hmm.
it's true in the end that you need to, if you don't have money, you can't waste your time in something that doesn't give you money. So
No,
again,
that's true.
you prove my point in a way that I'm wasting my time
No, 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 no.
in a
That's
way.
true. I
So,
mean, that's why I say you always need a plan B when the modding fails over
yeah,
here, and you're not going to be able to be put on the spotlight and hired by a company or something, or going to get any funding from the community. Then you need to not
mhm,
rely on them, and then go for plan B, and you need to go
yeah.
to earn some
I mean,
money elsewhere.
Plan Z at this
Uh,
point. Plan Z.
nah, you're way far from plan Z, man. You're gonna be fine.
Mm.
Let me just ask you another question. This is also quite interesting. I think this is what we have also kind of leaned on. How do you see Age of Empires 2 TE in the future?
Well, comes a long way. Like, uh, I don't. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of the Three Kingdoms, like many people. I
Mm-hmm.
think it has some good aspect, no?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I think it's the best selling of the DLC, or maybe the fastest selling. So again, to prove my point that quantity is not always quality. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I think the next one is gonna be better. I assume,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully. And I think actually I like. I know that a lot of people are negative about new DLC always coming, new sieves. I'm not tired about that because I think it's a very flexible game.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like classic at this point. Now you can add whatever you want, and it will always kind of work. Well, in the case of Three Kingdoms, it's I think they just went for the easy pop route,
Mm-hmm.
but luckily, players in this case seem to be quite well. They want more, like they expect more. They expect something more serious than again over and over that pop history about China. No,
True.
something more deep, and it's good in this case. But again, imagine if no one saying anything and this was the best selling. It would be a shame, no? But again, I think the future is well. Personally, I'm not sure if they should add because I'm a big fan of the Dark Ages, but actually I'm not sure if they should make something about the Dark Ages because I would have to redesign all my mods. So it would be a problem, but in a way I would like it, of course, because it's something I like. Let's say if they added at one point Vandals, something like Saxons, I don't know,
Mm.
and Nubians, the Gokturks. But yeah, I would like it, but maybe they will step on my toes. That's the point. But again, whatever. So again, what I see in the future, I see this, and I hope actually they go on because well, it's good for them because apparently they make a lot of money. What I don't like is the fact that they have sacrificed everything. Like Age of Empire 1 doesn't have new content anymore, not even Return of Rome, not even Age of Empires 3. I don't play Age of Empires 3, but still, I think it's kind of a shame.
But that's
And I
because they
don't like
cut it
that they,
out. They have cut
yeah, I
out
don't like,
Age of Empires 3, so.
yeah, I think that's not good. But again, they did that. Why? Because there was not enough, again, players compared to. You see why it sucks, the free market? Sometimes it sucks because they just made a decision that was more lucrative for them, no? And
Mm.
it kind of sucks, but in the end, it is what it is. And what I don't like, another thing, is that they try to cram other games into Age of Empires 2, only because Age of Empires 2 is the most lucrative.
Yeah.
So they try to shoehorn the mechanics of Age of Empires 3, or I don't know, Age of Empires 1 doesn't have mechanics, but other games, and that I don't quite like because it feels lazy, very not very creative, no.
Yeah,
They can if they can get away with it, I mean, that's capitalism, baby. I can't complain about that, no.
yeah.
So I don't know. I like that the game go on, but in a way, I don't like that it seems like they're getting a bit lazy on some side. I don't know.
But that's
There are
just
pros and cons, I guess.
but that's just the thing that has been really shown on as well. And like you've already mentioned, Age of Empires 3 is really cut out and all that, and it's really pity. The community there is still active. There's still an active community there, but they have really pitied because it was starting to get quite a bit of niceness as well, especially previous DLCs that they have offered, the historical battles and all that. People really enjoyed them. I personally did too. I like them, but it's just a pity that they have not really published and cut out the previous thoughts that they want to do with Poland and all that.
Yeah,
And overall, Age of Empires 2, in my opinion, has been going well, aside from the China one, The Victors of Vanquish. Well, we have already covered that. The Chronicles Battle for Greeks, for example, is really sold well. There's like thousands of good views about it. Same thing for Alexander the Great. But then if we're going to look with the Three Kingdoms, well, 900 positive, which is mixed, but mostly negative, especially recently. 35% is good and 49% is good, so the people were divided. But if you're going to go for the Battle of Greece, for example, very positive. 80% percentage is really good, because there's like change,
the
and this is what
Chronicles.
people, yeah, the Battle for Copernicus with the Battle of Greece, for example, they're very
Yeah,
good, positive. And for example, 76% on Alexander is very positive, and that already proves the community's power and the power of
oh yeah,
selective free
Chronicles.
market. And then, for example, the
Chronicles is
mountain
a good.
royals, they're also good.
Mhm.
And there's like 66 percentage, which we're happy, but at
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
same time, they're not. Or, like you said, Age of Empires 1, it's pretty dead community, but they trying to push it inside here was not a good idea, too. And that's what they tried to do with the Return of the Rome, where 48 percentage did not really like it because they're
yeah,
trying to push it down and try to activate the community, but you can't force yourself
yeah,
to
yeah,
have the people inside the market accept it. That's not how it works. Because forcing something onto people will always react into an action or reaction situation, and there's more violence. And that is what's happening. And
yeah,
that's why I say advocate, don't do that. Because when you're gonna do it, you're gonna be the one who's gonna receive the damage. And that is just like literally a little bit of a, how should I say, um Soviet Marxism, or slash like, how should I say, dictator like
yeah, yeah. No,
behavior, and that's not
I'm
gonna
not
work.
definitely. I
And that,
abandoned that mindset long ago.
no, I know, because it's not gonna work, and that's how people are thinking,
Yeah,
are trying to do many as well. And that's, I don't know how the last chieftains will be, but they have promised quite a lot of things, and I hope they're gonna be able to do that. Because if you promise something, the people will definitely expect you to tell, and that's something, a mentality that I'm not a big fan of. That is definitely, I definitely would not advocate. I would advocate always to have a little bit of an opener mindset, and to always try that even if someone makes a mistake with the release date, especially with the Three Kingdoms one, to try and maybe fix it. But if they don't want to do it and they say, hey, it's going to be a waste of resources, which some people find, then don't. Then just try something else. That's definitely something
yeah.
I would.
I really hope they do something about the kingdoms, but I don't know honestly because well, it's a messed up situation. Some
Yeah,
people even are very critical about new gimmicks.
true.
Me, well, I'm not against that honestly because I think I'm more the kind of guy that I think you should always push, for something new.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe at times they maybe it's too much. It can feel too much. Well, the next one seems to be good. The only way they can fuck it up at this point is the campaigns. Let's see. It's
Yeah,
just
and of
the
course,
Chiefs feel good.
and I think they're gonna also fuck it up constantly with the new balancing as well, because every time when
Ah,
a
well,
new custom
Yeah,
campaign and a
but then
scenario. Hmm?
you can rebalance it, no? It's not a big problem because you can rebalance it. The problem is when you add something like the Three Kingdoms that it's hard
I mean,
to delete,
don't
no?
I don't think that is very easily to do because again, Age of
Mm.
Empires 2 has a very active competitive community, and when that community pulls
Oh,
out, Age of Empire 2 is going to lose its biggest sponsors and biggest hype community. And
mm.
that's going to be a big
Yeah,
problem for them. And when that happens, they're going to have to pull some cuts at certain places. And when that happens, I think the Forgotten Empires will be in trouble. That's a big fact that
yeah,
needs to be considered. And that is what
yeah,
some of
yeah.
those competitive players are voicing out as well. And that's something that needs to be considered carefully too. And certainly
Uh,
the campaign community who buys these DLC like good consumers and herds of goats and sheep who do not offer constructive feedback at times um, simply gives away the money, and that's a bad mentality. They should be a bit more critical about it and a bit more open to both sides because again, DLCs are a choice.
critical. I
Deal,
think the community is actually quite critical. So it's not a lack of, sometimes even harsh, no?
yeah,
But again, me, it's still consumer mentality, like very black and white, no?
yeah.
Like I remember when the Three Kingdoms came out. Of course, I wasn't a fan of it,
Neither
but
was
it's
I.
not that I was going around shitting on the entire world because I mean, yeah, it's bad, but there are good things, no?
Yeah,
There
true. I
definitely
mean,
are good things.
that is what I also tried
So
to say. Like the the way that they have also portrayed the artwork and all that, and also the choice menu, etc. That looks very awesome. The music and the way they have portrayed specific civilization, it was really nice. And they offered us five different civilizations. They also made a bit of changes for the competitive work, but the historical telling and all that, it wasn't really that cool. And
no, no, that's terrible. The campaign was terrible, but again, the units they added, the editor things they maybe someone that doesn't even know because he doesn't use the editor. But
yeah,
there are definitely like far lancers. I don't know traction. The single units. It's very nice. Like Asia didn't have anything before it. No, Iron
yeah,
Pagodas, Grenadiers. I mean, okay, it's the context is terrible, of course, but there is something to save. So be honest, I'd say, no, don't be a consumer, no, because consumer can be two things. They can be the one that you say, oh, I buy anything, I buy even their shit if they send me, or they
yeah,
can be the one that, oh, I don't trust them. But in the end, it's two faces of the same coin, in my opinion. Like you're still using a consumer mentality. You can say this is good, this is bad. It's not like black or white. Everything. Never in life you see something that is black or white. It's always some
yeah.
shade of gray, you know?
Yeah, true. I mean, but that is something that needs to be considered carefully, though. You cannot always right away jump to a conclusion. That's for sure, and that is what I'm trying to advocate. But it is really difficult because you need to also think like this, right? Whenever you have a bad taste in the mouth, you're gonna always be reluctant to try something out, even, and that is something that the community struggles with currently, and do not want to face that constantly, and that's just a fear. So yeah, but
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. No, the Three King as Civ is really bad. That is like my biggest complaint, I'd say. But for most people, I think.
yeah, it
So that
is
is, I'd say, is black and white. That. But other things I'm happy to have like Iron Pagodas again, Grenadiers. Like I can put them in scenario editor. I can make a Khitan campaign. I can make it. So for modders, this mostly no,
true,
but
but
there are something positive.
yeah, true. But then again, don't forget, like a way we also need to consider about the balancing too. It is really important too because
Yeah.
it's gonna break the gameplay, and when it breaks the gameplay, no one's gonna play. Like you also
Mm.
said, right? When you create something, We want people to see, to be inspired, to also have enjoyment, and to see the same view as you. But if it's gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna enforce it to someone, it's not gonna be fun, not gonna be
Mm.
cool, not gonna be something just you're gonna be work for to try and achieve. Because when you make a campaign, you don't want it to be too simple,
Yeah.
and you need to work for it. Like if we have also talked from the beginning here, you need to work to achieve something. But if it's too hard, then it's bad. That's why you need to find the middle ground. And I think that these days, in the few past DLCs, Age of Empires has been, Forgotten Empires and all that has been trying to chemistry around, and sometimes they failed, especially in Three Kingdoms and the Victors Vanquished. But then eventually they just came back with Alexander the Great and the Battle for Greece
Yeah.
Chronicles and all. And that is something to good. And I hope the Last Chieftains will be good too. But like everyone in the community, we're just a little bit anxious, so to say.
Yeah.
Um,
That is a problem that is like in general not linked to the Three Kingdoms, but the more they have chiefs, civilization, the more there is the concrete possibility to fuck it up now with the balance, like because you have to balance the balance. And with more than 50 shifts, it becomes a problem. Me, I have more of single player mentality, so maybe I'm less concerned about balance. But yeah, if you think about multiplayer, if you're gonna have 100 saves,
yeah,
gonna be very hard to balance them.
true,
So yeah.
true. And if I'm gonna like think about also like consumer mentality, well, also not just by competitive mentality. I'm gonna think like, why do you add three different China versions? Well, China has a lot more different subcultures, for example, right? But they made only three
Mhm,
ones simply because one historical period. I think that's a little bit
mhm.
questionable, and it's not really, in my opinion, very nice. And neither do I think the Jurchens and all that spoke Chinese themselves or so. But that's just my opinion. That's just really pity, and that's why
No,
I
no, you're right.
think why
The
they.
period,
Mm,
the period to me is the least offender. I mean, it's too much because as a stretch because the third, second century. I mean, but it's even worse for the fact you say about China dividing China into a faction where you could have, of course, Tibetans and
yeah,
Tangut and many others. Probably. I'm not even knowledgeable about that side of history, but
there's a lot
it's easy
more
to see
cultures
why you,
there.
yeah, you could have like Xianbei if you want
Yeah,
something very early, or Gokturks a little
yeah,
later, talking
true,
about Dark Ages.
true.
So yeah, they completely messed that up because they thought that, oh, the Three Kingdoms, everybody do that. No, that's stupid.
And at that time, there was also a lot of other Chinese stuff coming out, and that's just not what the consumer likes. Because of course, not many people politically enjoys that side of the earth. But again, not to offend anyone. But they have already made a request about Tibetans and all that from all the time too. There has been quite a few voices outing that too, and how it was balanced. Of course, adding, giving Koreans and all that, also Firelands and all that, it's also cool. And they have already been in Age of Empires 4 and implementing here. Say, okay, it's cool. But we have also seen how strong they can be also in very competitive play, and that tends to make it
Yes.
very frustrating with the balance too. And that's again
Yeah.
a worry, a concern. And this just only
Yeah. Yeah.
piles up. It's gonna be bloated up, like I've said. Christophers has said
Mm.
actually in the previous thing. It tends to make everything more bloated up, and that's why
Yeah. Yeah.
the.
Well, let's see. I'm not that conservative
Mm-hmm,
because I'm more about like I remind myself I don't know if you know Robbie Lava,
mm-hmm.
this design on YouTube. And
No,
yeah, I'm more like that kind of very out there design. So I like to innovate that they go on, but yeah, maybe Christophorus and others are more realistic and conservative in the sense that, yeah, maybe this could be wrong. This could
yeah,
fuck up the
it
balance. Yeah.
it could, and we definitely do see that, honestly, in my opinion. Then, but you know what? We'll see in the future, and we'll have high hopes, as we said right now. Then I guess. Question 16. You could instantly change or add one future to Age of Empires 2 scenario editor. What would you be, or what would it be? I mean,
Single feature.
yeah, you have one choice. Like instantly, you're gonna do that.
Uh,
Like you're sitting in Microsoft or Forgotten Empire Studios,
mm,
and everyone's like, "Hey, we have you know enough budget to make one quick change." What would it be before you're gonna release, for example, the coming DLC?
as I said before, since I'm a modder, I would like to have the condition on triggers to select units that are not uh, present on the field at the start of the scenario,
Hmm.
which I think it's something we talk a lot in some forums
Mm-hmm.
for modders, like oh, there is not a way to again, as I said before, select, for example, a building that is not built yet. And you would say, how can I select a building that is not built yet? Well, you could make a toggle about selecting a type of building. Like I want the AI in a certain context to attack only barracks, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Add something like that. Like I want again, maybe you could solve this maybe with AI programming, but I think it's a bit inconvenient. Like you could easily add it as a trigger. And there
Yeah.
are a lot of other things probably I can think of. Copy trigger, copy and paste. You can't currently copy and paste trigger, I think. This is
Yeah.
very inconvenient and
Okay.
very easy to add. Like it will take 2 minutes, I think, now.
Okay.
And
Okay.
more gameplay stuff. Well, the three kingdoms, just remove them or change them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess I will try to make campaigns a bit more interesting because another thing we didn't say about the three kingdoms, I didn't look at it into it too much. But for
Yeah.
what I've seen, the plot is very simple. Like
Yeah.
not even yeah, not even close to my level of details. But you don't have to be like that detailed, no. But at least a bit to understand what's happening now.
Yeah.
So that's just hire a writer, no, hire me. I don't know. I am a writer that is decent, like because again, to me, the only decent stories I've seen is the one written recently, apart from the original ones, and the one written by a campaign about Lord Bassi, the only ones. The
Yeah.
others are like even custom mods. Honestly, I didn't find a single custom mod with a good story, honestly. And
Yeah.
but I'm very ambitious on that, and because I like to write, I'm basically a writer. So, but again, if you can't, I don't know, ask or it's not because again, the old campaigns were so simple gameplay wise, but they were so better as an atmosphere experience. They were so much more human.
Because they
Like
were fun.
what's happening?
They were
When
fun.
even more human, like you remember Father Armand, no, it's all this thing they just go over your head in recent campaigns. They don't have that because they're written again. To me, they're written a bit too stereotypically. You know, that kind of plots where oh, let's forge a stronger empire through iron and blood, and let's conquer this. I mean, it's boring. Just that crap. That I don't know. I don't like that things like do something more original, more creative. Like I don't mean that you have to do like I did for my last war scenario with Pasolini, and I don't ask that level of detail, but at least I don't know, try something different. And so- Not different in the sense of let's copy Chronicles or let's copy Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, or just try to have some soul in you. I don't know. Again, Chronicles did something better in this, was more experimental, so I like it. But again, there is still something missing. I can't quite like. I like Alexander, but I don't know. To me, he was a bitch. He as a character, I don't know. Maybe he was really like that, but I really could stand him at a certain point. It felt like playing like while someone was giving orders at you, like, and he was a complete madman, which it's probably what he was, no, in the end. But I don't know. It's well, in that case, maybe it's me just finding him unlikable. But
Mm-hmm.
even in Battle for Greece, the plot was okay, was more detailed historically, but I don't know, there's something like missing that is I can define it if not as soul, something more human. I don't know how to define it. Something that stick with you when you read a poem, no?
Yeah.
That all the campaigns I think had it, and then we kind of lost it. But I think it's part of the decadence we're living,
Mm.
honestly, with AI or that crap.
Mm. I mean, I partially agree with you. I partially do. I think I would have done the same. Um, yeah, no. I'm just gonna move with the next question.
Yeah.
Are you currently working on any custom campaign or scenario? Are you willing to share some juicy information about it, or would you rather keep it to yourself for now as you keep on
Oh,
cooking?
well, I'm reworking on the old ones
Mm-hmm.
especially after your feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to change that the difficulty level, and it will take a lot, especially
Mm-hmm.
because it's a very boring work. So I don't know how often I will do it, if I will finish it ever. So that's a big of a problem. And then yeah, I have a lot of ideas and I can share, but I don't think anyone is as it's mouth watering on this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was thinking about the Persian campaign, so of course late antiquity, so something about Khosrow. I had in mind the plot, everything, but yeah, it will take a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And another one I had in mind was Theodoric, which I know already exists because Cat Scientist made one, but the one I had in mind is radically different, so
Okay.
there's no problem with it.
No, of course not,
And
because
the other one, yeah.
I don't think it's bad to make another custom campaign about the same personality who someone else made. It offers a little bit of competitive creativity, honestly, and
Yeah,
that's not really bad.
no,
It's
but
just
in
no one should smear one another and shame one another.
yeah, but
But
in
there's
the end,
welcoming competitiveness. Hmm.
in the end, it will always be different. So
Yeah.
again, unless I try to purposely copy, but again, it's very different what I want to do. It's and now there are more seas. It's just even the plot. I would really like to make that campaign because of the plot, because right now it's very close to me what I want to say. And yeah, those two are but there are others. I had in
Mm-hmm.
mind, like for some time, a King Arthur campaign, and I guess everyone will
Hmm.
hate it because, oh no, King Arthur is mythology.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have in mind a way to make it historical. King
Hmm.
Arthur is just a name, but it will be very different. And I had in mind Clovis, the Franks, a lot of ideas, but again, time is the problem, and the fact that this is this doesn't lead you anywhere. So yeah, you need to have a plan B, as you say. So you don't
Nah,
have much time.
I think it is always giving you something. I think you're leaving a legacy too.
Mm.
That's also important. Like try to
Yeah.
think about that. I think even if like take for example, everyone knows Julius Caesar, right? At that time, do you
Hmm.
think Julius Caesar was always after the money? I don't think so. Everyone has their own aim in life. Everyone has their own aim to go. Of course, we also need to survive. We also need food and all that. But I think that is something that everyone can always try to get, unless you're living in a poor country like Africa or something, where you're far desperate. Like right now, I think in the societies that we live in, we can always somehow procure it one way or another. And even though if you're in Africa, I think you still can one way procure that food too. No way, and like it's no way that it's impossible. It's always possible, be it bad and good way. But I think what matters here, right? Like I always said it, you're still leaving a legacy. You're still having a portfolio of your creativity. It's something that not everyone is able to. And that's why I try to tell you, like, this is artistic work, not to sound arrogant or something, but it's something that every average person can create. So try to look always positive. Of course, you need to be rational too,
Actually,
but yeah.
to me, that used to be something to be proud of, but now it's just a problem because I know that I have something no one else can bring, but can't do anything with that. So when I look at a homeless guy in my city, I say to him, wait for me. And so it's not true. I think there's always a possibility. But I mean,
True.
let's hope, let's
I
be
mean, I
optimistic.
mean, that homeless person, like, think also this. Why did he become homeless? Think about that too. I have also homeless people here too, but not
Um,
all homeless became homeless simply because they could not pay their rent. Some people literally became homeless of the addictions that they had, for example, on drugs or weed, right?
for Age
You
of
need to.
Empires.
Yeah, I mean that's one perspective you can have. Now, I mean,
Uh,
you get it, and sometimes some people are also got
yeah,
homeless simply because of they got deserted or like uh,
mhm,
zeroed by fellow women and all that or whatever. Not to
mhm.
attack them, but it does happen, and that's something you need
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
careful and considerate about. And that's why I always say, always have a plan B on yourself. And where you have the
indeed.
plan B, you can always adjust plan A and then try to still execute it. For example, but that's just
Let's
always,
put it. Let's put it that way. If I will have time, definitely I can go on for years.
yeah.
So let's
I
see.
still think you can. It's just a management thing, I think. Remember this. I will always encourage you to still continue on, and that is what I'll do not only with you, but also with others. Because I think you guys still can use these creativity always, and it still will make pleasure to others, even if it's just a little bit. You can still enjoy. You can still look back, and it's still a legacy. To who knows? Maybe throughout in the future, people can assume that they're gonna be good, and if it's not very rewarding or very monetary aid, then it's
Yeah.
still something
I'm
that you've experienced
sure.
through life,
I'm sure
basically.
Van Gogh would be very happy to know that he was starving in his life while his pictures nowadays cost millions. But
Yeah,
well, at least he got that, no?
yeah, exactly. And that is something, in my opinion, that still matters as well. It's an adventure. Like, if you have pleasure through that and fun, then hey, and it goes. Like, even,
Mhm.
like I said, we have poor people here too, and I've even seen how happy they can be too. And they simply want to live like that life. And if they want to, then hey, why not? Right? Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, another question: is there something you like to say to the community itself?
Oh, well, um, it depends on what you mean with the community, like the
It's an
community as a
overall
whole, like
community as a whole.
forums, the players. Yeah, well, mm, I'm not sure. Like, there's not much I would say. I would say, mm, be less picky. No, no, I don't know. It's, well, I don't know. I'd say try my campaigns and come into the comment section and insult me so we can argue. I don't know. That's what
Nah,
communities do nowadays, no?
true.
And no, I don't know. I don't like much that this community, and I don't know, it's kind of disjointed, and in the end, who cares? So,
Hmm.
but I appreciate that you took the time to build it up, but I think it's very hard on the internet nowadays. People are very, very entitled. They just
Hmm.
look like grown-up kids.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Uh, they just do themselves, I guess. So
Hmm.
they can continue this way.
Hmm.
Another
Okay.
thing. Oh well, okay, it's
Hmm.
okay.
No, I mean you can say everything you like. Like again, I partially agree to you, but doing nothing or just tossing one another away is not an option, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy, and again, for not only for the mothers part, but I don't know, it's just people don't know the time you need to do something, and it's consumer mentality basically that you want to have your thing and you just don't think. You
Mm-hmm.
just, oh, give me the thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it may sound rude, but it's true. So it's not definitely hypocritical.
Yeah.
And and yeah, there's a lot of problem, but it's not the Age of Empires. It's community via internet that are very unhuman, very removed, very
True,
I don't
they
know. It's
can be,
something.
but focus on
It's
this, right?
2027, 26.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean that's true, Lorenzo. But try to focus on this, right? Take up the bad,
Mhm.
take in the good. There's plenty of rare gems in the internet. I'll promise you that. Take this lesson as me. Like let this be an earring to your ear, for example. There's always those
Mhm.
bad, you just throw them out, and there's those good, and you take them in. And whoever is
Yeah.
good, you elevate them. And whoever is bad,
No,
you
indeed. Mhm.
hmm.
Oh,
And
sorry, there are good exceptions. This, like you were very. I'm very grateful for this interview, but really not because I'm saying, oh, I have to say that,
hmm,
or in general, people in general that kind try to understand, no,
mm-hmm,
even try to play the all the scenarios. No, it's
mm-hmm,
very. Even if you fail at them, or even if it's painful for me to watch you struggle,
mm-hmm,
but in the end, at least you tried, no? So
yeah,
there's sympathy for from my side,
mm-hmm,
and also it's not only you, but few people that really try, no, really try to give constructive criticism. Even Christophers, we always keep in contact,
mm-hmm,
and yeah, there are positive, of course, but the positive, yeah, they are positive, no, they are exceptional
yeah,
within the role that, but it's okay, no, because it makes you cheer even more the exception, no, in a
yeah,
way.
yeah, and
So, and the rest, people are, well, in a way, people maybe are even tired because there's a lot of actually content created for this game. So maybe people are just sick now of it. And I
yeah,
can quite understand it, but still remember there are people around doing this. It's not like you need to get your pacifier. Custom campaigns are not pacifiers. No, it's not. Don't die like a kid. No, like oh, I need this because Philadelphia doesn't deserve it. That's it's that is so silly. I don't know. It's so immature. Like
mm-hmm,
you like it or not, something. There's still work
yeah,
behind it. So. And again, before that Philadelphia thing, I was the most critical person ever of Philadelphia because I'm even kind of competitive. But you have to be fair, no? You have to
true.
be separate even the work from the personal.
True. I
So
mean, I think the community still appreciates Philadelphia, but I don't think they appreciate to have a reworked
yeah,
campaign to put on.
yeah,
And
that's the hypocritical part, in my
yeah,
opinion. That you appreciate it, but at the same time not because you have to pay $3. Oh my God,
no, I mean, I think
that's so
it's
entitled.
no. I think I mean, like look at this, okay? Right. I'm gonna try to give you a better view what the people really irritates you. I
Mm,
think there's just a bit of conflicting feeling, right? So imagine
yeah.
I'm taking now your Adrianople campaign, right? I'm telling you right
Mhm,
now, rework it and put it. We're
mhm,
gonna put it on the market. Do you
yeah.
think the community would appreciate that? Because,
I
like,
mean,
for
the
example,
the point is the point is not everything goes through the community. We say that we are not Marxist, right?
yeah,
So
no, yeah,
if
true,
we're not
but
Marxist,
yeah, true, but the
like
people
there are
would have
individuals.
the people would have preferred. Like, I think this is what the people are trying to come from, right? The people wouldn't
I mean,
want to have a free product reused, like they're reusing it. even though it is already played through, they have already enjoyed it, and it's already in the game. Why would you want to waste all the resources to remake it a little bit and offer it
Yeah,
as to us again? Because it's basically raw meat which you just recooked again. I mean, not raw
yeah.
meat. It's like cooked meat, but you're cooking it again. Don't you think it's
Yeah,
gonna be bad for
yeah.
your
I
health?
understand. Yeah. My
That
my
is what the
opinion
people
is,
hated.
yeah, my opinion is that it's Microsoft maybe to blame because they try to repackage that, but I think
Yeah, but
it's entirely
he,
correct
he,
for Philadelphia to take advantage of it
I don't
because
think it's
it's
just
his
only
work.
Microsoft to blame. I
Mm.
think anyone,
Yeah.
especially Philadelphia, could have said no. And if he said no, Microsoft would not have the law or anything to be able to reuse it because that is just how
Oh
things
no,
work in the
indeed.
internet. But he has
But
consented it. Uh,
my point is that it's not. I mean, I do what I do. It's not that
mm-hmm,
everything I have to ask the consensus to people.
mm-hmm. True,
So
true.
if I want to package my molds, it's my work.
Yeah.
So you can decide to not buy it, but I don't see why. I
Yeah,
mean,
but then,
it's
but
like it's so obvious to me. I
yeah,
don't know.
true.
Like I make a song, why can't I sell it?
Yeah, but because people don't like it. And if people don't like it, why, like, you can still make it, right? It's still going to be on there. And if
It's
people
not
don't like
true
it,
that
it's
they don't
just,
like it.
what do you
It's not
mean?
true that they don't like it. They don't like the fact that they have to pay. That's the problem. But
There,
that's
there
hypocritical
are, there,
because you like,
some people are greedy. Some people are, okay, that's agreeable. Some people do not want to spend and they don't understand that
yeah.
gaming is a luxury, right? That's just a
I
fact.
mean, to tomorrow I go to, I don't know, to the shopping and they say, no, I don't want to pay because you're greedy. I mean, that's not, doesn't work like that. Like, if I do something,
You
that's my
need to
work. No, you have
be,
to pay.
yeah, you need to be grateful for that too. But I think, again, gaming is not essential for our survivability, right? That's just a
No.
fact. That it's a luxury, right? Not everyone can
Mhm,
afford it. And when you're in this luxury, a hobby, as we'll say, because everyone has a hobby they want to enjoy and play through,
mhm,
right? If they don't enjoy it,
mhm,
why should they buy it? And that is something that needs to be considered. So, why would people buy a DLC from Philadelphia when they don't enjoy it or already have? It's going to be a waste of money, waste of resources. Again, not just for themselves, but also for the company who also spent millions of dollars again, and also for Philadelphia, his time, which is also wasted, which he could have actually used it to create something else. That is what I think where the community is coming from. I do get you. I do get that you would actually would want the creators to be funded to earn money and all that. But here's what you need to also pay in mind: the creators and those people in the community also want to see that they can enjoy it. Because if they're not going to be enjoying
I
it,
know.
why would they pay for such a thing? Like I personally, I would have also not paid for anything that I don't enjoy. Hey, if Hideout, the maker of Upronik and Tomislav, went one day, hey, I'm gonna make Upronik again and sell it as a DC, I would also say, I'm not gonna buy it. Why are you doing this? But if he's gonna say, hey, I'm gonna make something else and I had passed a good experience with his campaigns and he makes something good, I'm gonna buy it. And if I play
But
through
I
it and I
think,
enjoyed it, hmm?
yeah,
And if
they do
he's,
that on.
yeah, no, no, go ahead.
No, no, they do that only because that's the only way they have to monetize what they did.
Yeah, but that's just
So,
not very nice because you're just like, that's why the people feel insulted. Because, like I said, the mods, the creations, the things that he made is very cool. So instead, why don't they fund Philadelphia to make something more extra? Because that's just another great modder
yeah,
from the
that's
community.
that's a problem. That's up to Microsoft. It's not his fault.
Yeah, but again, I don't know. Uh, it's not entirely his fault actually, and neither Microsoft. Here's the thing: what the community is coming from. The community says you could have said no. A no is an answer too. But what he did, he said yes, and he gave them that thing, and he certainly have gained some money from that too. It's a choice you make, and people criticize him from that. And at the same time, I know where you're coming from. I have empathy, but at the same time, I don't have sympathy for him because he did this. I have played to those campaigns, I like them, but at the same time, why did you do this? Well, you could have spent your time and all that to a different thing and make more of a legacy, honestly. Because that is what Forgotten Empires did too. And that is just like a ambition wasted. Like you say, if you're an artist, you want to see that artist rise. It is the same thing why I'm trying to say, like, hey, you are an artist too, but I want to see you rise. And for you to rise is to find a middle ground. And we're saying, hey, this is a middle ground where you can work and me too, hand in hand. But if you don't want to take that hand, well, we'll go one way and you go one way. And then you can say, hey, yeah, you have been rude, but hey, we've given you a choice. And that's just something
Yeah.
that needs to be considered because we cannot always be one sided. Not everyone will get everything what they like in life, and neither have I. So that's why I'm trying to find middle grounds, not only for myself, but also for others. And that is the reasoning for these interviews too, to encourage talkings, to find middle grounds, to have the community to, understand these points of views and try to, you know, not constantly clash each other because that's not going to work. It's going to be very unproductive. And in hopes to,
Yeah,
have a field.
maybe
Mm.
this argument will spawn a discussion eventually, and yeah,
No, no, I don't think
let's
it's a
see what
discussion. I think it's like a good conversation, a heart to heart
yeah.
conversation, honestly. And that is
Hmm.
what people really need, in my opinion, inside this community to have and understand, honestly.
Yeah.
But you make good points, like as well, and I agreed to some of them, well, most of them actually. But I also try to think about the community too, right? Because they don't want to pay for something that has been cooked already, because it's just gonna burn, and you don't want to eat burnt
Yeah.
food. I don't. I really don't. That's gonna be bad for my health, and I put my
Yeah,
health to value.
it's just weird to me that they're the same people who were saying Filthy Daffy was a genius before that, no?
Yeah,
So, but yeah, apart from that, whatever, no? Everyone
yeah,
can do what they want.
true. Everyone can, but know this. I don't think. I think it's like a tough love the community can sometimes have. They have a hate and love relationship, just what I can also have with some people too. Um, I'm not gonna say names, but I'm pretty much clear that everyone knows who I'm talking about. Not you, by the way. But I think that's why they try to say towards Philadelphia, hey, you could have been something else and all that. But of course, it's not an excuse to insult their valuable people, for example, their mothers, for example. And that's something that I'm very against. And sometimes try to not do that, even though at the end I do those too, that too, especially, which I'm very sorry
Oh,
about.
well, it's okay. It's all
But
fair
it's
game.
yeah. But
To me, even insults are okay. The only thing I don't like is when someone gives you orders, like tell you what to do. That even if someone say, "Oh, fuck you, this is too hard." I mean, it's okay. I don't like it, of course, but it's okay. It's free speech. No.
yeah, I know, but it's something that should not be out, honestly,
Yeah.
because it's just through the heat of the moment, honestly. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's move to the next question. Is there a way people can contact you, like other content creators or those in the community who want to play your campaign and wanted to offer the thoughts, opinions with some constructive feedback, perhaps? Like, it is something also I find difficult, like mentioned to Christopher's, that it is hard to contact certain content creators because they don't have either
Yeah.
their Discord or mails or whatever available.
I think I have my email, but maybe I will. I mean, we can include it in the video description or something.
Mm-hmm.
And And yeah, even my Discord if someone wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else could I do. My number. No, I don't know.
I mean,
It's mhm.
it is something that I've really want to also have been addressing too. Like, I don't care, even if it's a Discord, or like Christopher has mentioned, you can actually try to go through discussions in the forums and then poke him for his profile. Something I never knew about, but that's also an option and something that should actually be needed in case they want to contact you to have a chat, for
Uh,
example, or an
I think
interview.
I put my email in my mouth description, but if I forget about it, maybe I will put it because I like to. I mean, there was someone contacting me via email, so I
Hmm.
think yeah. So, but yeah, it's always fun to discuss and to know.
Yeah, that's good. Um, all right. Roughly how much time does it take to create actually a full scenario or a campaign for from idea to release? What is your time? For Christopher's, it was about like 8 months. Sometimes it can be less, but it depends. How about you?
Yeah, well, it depends on the first Constantinople. Well, I think well, most campaigns, full campaigns took well like a year. Julian was the longest, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, the I think a little less than a year, 9 months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Constantinople more or less the same, so it's around 1 year, yeah, because yeah,
Yeah,
maybe I'm slower than Christopher's, and like
that's okay.
I don't work on scenarios and stuff like how do I say uh, compulsively. Like I do other things in life, like and so I take some more time. Then I also use a lot of triggers compared to other creators.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it takes more time because I'm more like I control more directly the players rather than using AI.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, maybe the plot and the slides are very long to write, so I take. So it's like when I make a campaign, I also make well, not a book, but a small book in a way, like a small story. So yeah, that takes very long. I've seen
Yeah,
other custom modders care less about the story or the plot, or like more yeah, less detail. To me, it's very important because it's the soul. Like having a game for even for the plot is very important for me.
true.
But yeah, a lot of people entirely skip it. So yeah, they took it like just a challenge in itself, a game.
Yeah.
And it's fair, like everyone do what he wants, and yeah, but I take I say more or less a year for a single scenario. It depends. Adrianople, I think it took only 3 months, I think, but it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of rough because yeah, it's my first standalone scenario, so I should actually rework it.
Yeah.
And the later one, Wargastisburg, yeah, more or less some 3 months. The one of the answer took me more because it's so complex and wide and very complex. And
Okay.
it's almost like a campaign in a scenario.
Yeah.
And even the penultimate Julian scenario took me a lot. The one where you have to start as if that is
Yeah.
so complex. It took me forever. And
Okay.
I was literally going mad at certain point. I can tell you. And yeah, the last roar one now it's more traditional. It's less well, it's still my kind of thing, but it's more less complex maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So it took I think less than 3 months. But yeah, you got an idea, no?
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's still interesting, honestly. Okay. There's quite a lot of time for sure. Next question will be what keeps you motivated to keep creating, especially during long or difficult projects? With that, with that I
This
mean
is an hard
like,
question.
yeah,
I don't know. Madness, probably. No, I don't know.
passion, passion.
It's that kind of extreme passion, I guess, like
Mm-hmm.
almost, yeah, almost madness, no? Because it's like you're so. Again, there are some scenarios that are so hard to make to pull out, and then they are, even then they are too hard, too complex, and it doesn't work. But still, even in the current form, it's still so hard. Sometimes you get lost in the trigger. Also because I'm not very disciplined, maybe very organized with triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes a chore to kind of having to find them and to change them. It's so complex, so hard. It would
Yeah,
be a hell to one moment.
sure.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah,
Having Yeah, no, anyway, what keep you interested? Well, it's definitely not the feedback. No, well, the compliments are kind of, it's really good to receive one, or like people that, even for D, I think someone wrote, oh, this is art, this is so different, this is so unique from the rest of the models, from the rest. That is very, like, wholesome, let's say. But I don't know, it's very rare, and in the end, it's pathetic in a way because you're kind of, oh, give me a compliment for a year of work, give me a compliment. Like, yeah, as I said, it's pointless in the end. Honestly, if we have to be honest, it's pointless. But yeah, it's good, I guess, for your self-esteem sometimes. So it's more about mental health than than it is about anything else. Sorry if I'm very honest, but someone has to say this, no?
yeah. No, that's all right. Um, I'll be the next question would be hold on. Have you ever unknowingly bent or ignored history to make a scenario more fun? Where do you actually even draw the line?
Hmm. Yeah, this is interesting. Well, I try to not to because I don't think I don't have a postmodern approach. Let's say I don't think it's that interesting to shake things for the sake of it. No, it's kind of overdone at this point in history. So I try to be realistic, but well, maybe I can add achievements or secondary objectives where I try to maybe you can take a different path, like make some character surviving or something else.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, I'd say I'm very close to history, probably more than most modders because I sacrifice a bit of fun for it.
Yeah.
Like I try to stay very close. Like for example, someone said, "Oh, you name check so many chapters in your plot, like in your dialogues. I can't quite. I just forgot about it, and I don't know. It's just too much information." And yeah, that's the problem. But the problem is because I try to put everything I can. No? So if you stay very close to when you play, you will come out of it that you will probably be very knowledgeable about everything in detail about that part of history. Can be good, can be bad. Depends on the level of abstraction you want to have. There are models that are very abstract, like more random maps, like. And occasionally I like it because you just cruise through this scenario. You just, I don't know, relax. But yeah, if you want or something more challenging or even something that is an experience, no, as I said, yeah, you want either something more, I don't know, that gives you more, no? Name check, the main character at least. And the time where I went the most far, I think it is with Diama because there are very little information accounts about that moment in history. So I had to, yeah, I'd say half of it is made up because the fact that you are a seal and you fight when you're very young at Sufetura, I think it's not corroborated by source. It's likely because I mean, he was 20 years old. Maybe it was well, he was a young soldier. I don't know, young general. So it is still likely, I'd say, that he fought with Byzantines, no?
Yeah,
And and yeah, with Dia not being a Jew but being a pagan, because in that case the plot worked better, I think. And other small things. Like the one about where you fight the Garamantes tyrant in the scenario two is not made up, but is a bit of a legend. No? Like the fact that you have to. Yeah, they say that she fought a tyrant and she was very strong and sort of annihilated him. But we
hmm,
don't know for sure if it happened. No, it's very vague. No, it sounds mythological. But I mean, with Dark Ages North Africa, that's what you have to go now because there's very little to work with. Only
yeah,
Muslim sources.
yeah. Oh, that's okay. I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll find more sources, because there's always still lots to find in this world, and still
Yeah,
many being found as well, and a lot of clashes between scientists and all that, and geologists, whatever, and all.
yeah.
That's okay. How what was this question? Yeah, okay. Yeah. 24. What's the single hardest thing for you to learn in the scenario editor?
Well, probably was AI, but it's not quite the scenario editor since it's more about a coding thing, so it's something separated. And everything that has to do with coding, like even JSON files, oh my God. These devs, I forgot to say it, change the JSON files. Change how it works because it's so inconvenient right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to make the slides, you have to basically code them. And to me, it's so pointless in 2026. Like make an interface. Like I think it will be easier even for them now to make campaigns to like where, for example, I can draw the image, I can put the image and sort of scroll through the plot right in a window bar. Instead, right now it's not like that. I don't know if you ever seen or ever tried, but it's like it's so torturous. Like you have to go out of the game, open the JSON file, and basically you have to do a little code, like a little thing, and it's so annoying because then you have to reopen the game, see, reopen the campaign, see if it's long enough the time you gave to the slide. That's why slides were, you say, too short in most cases because it's so annoying to go back and forth on that. It's so time consuming for nothing, honestly. And yeah, that's a point. But for the scenario editor itself, just the trigger, I guess. Sometimes even designing maps itself is can be take a long time, but that's maybe more because I try to put a lot of details and be a bit maximalistic about that. So maybe it's a me thing. But for triggers, well, there are. I'm sure there are some triggers. I still don't know how they work. So sometimes, occasionally, I ask for help, and yeah, there are many people that are actually very nice and willing to help. Some forums. So yeah, something specific, I it's very hard to make work. Hmm.
Yeah.
The
Um,
variables, the
mhm.
variables, like initially I didn't use them. Also the flares, but that's a minor thing. Like I didn't know that flares need something specific to work, and the comments to AI, I guess. And but the most hardest thing to of all is always balance, as you can say. So that's the single hardest thing to achieve now.
Yeah. I understand that. Okay, no, those are interesting points you made. Have you ever have players ever solved or broken one of your scenarios in a way you didn't expect it?
A lot of time, a lot of time because well, with Christophorus, I often argue that he say you have to give player the choice, no, as many choices as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not I disagree or agree with that. It's just that I think that normally you just have as many choices as possible. The point of a creator is to remove certain options, no,
Yeah.
like rather than to create them, because I feel like I mean, if you make a random map, for example, you have all the choice in the world. No, you can do whatever you want. There are no triggers, no. So the point of triggers to me is like you're trying to set rules for scenarios to work, to give priorities to certain things, to or at least to hint for the player to look, you should be careful, do this, you cannot train that, you cannot do that. I mean, it's all about rules in the end, no? So actually, the thing I struggle the most is that the fact that you can always break the rules in a way, no? Because it's hard to communicate effectively. Also, because ints are very numbered, you can't make more than a certain number of characters, and so and my ints are already very long, and so it's that is the complex part. Like people will always play in a way, but it's always also the good thing because it means that the game is very flexible, no? Even the way you design the scenario is very open. Like
Mm-hmm.
people can always find a way to play it differently, no? Sometimes to cheese it, and sometimes I find myself in a position where someone would say, "I did this in your scenarios. I don't know if it's considered cheating, you know." And yeah, you have to draw a line even there. No, you have to decide if this is cheating or if this is not. Then okay, I just leave it. If you want to do that, do that. No, but sometimes it's something that is not. You didn't want the player to do, so you need to fix something, treat it like a bug. No, it depends if it's a bug or a feature, as they say. No, so but yeah, I think yeah. Sometimes. They say my maps are a bit too scripted because you need to act in a certain way. You know, there are maybe too many rules. You need to remember too many. Yeah, that's the problem when you try to, I guess, design something. It's something I think you can feel like even in Chronicles, maybe because it's more experimental, no? So you are more restricted in some scenarios because the scenario creator wants you to do something very specific. So I mean, it's a designer choice. You can like it or not, but I mean, and I would say I think something I will never change because it's so at the core of the design, no, that it's part of the identity, no. So my design it's about doing something very out of the box to expect people to be like that, to act like that, and to adapt strategy. So in a way that. Maybe sometimes it's barely resembling of the original game, but I mean, if I wanted to make the original game, I would just make random maps. No, I would just So, but again, there is a balance, I guess, between the two extremes, but I'm definitely more into trying to innovate, even at the cost of doing something a bit raw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's really appreciated, and yeah, no, I get you, and I honestly agree that these things can tend to happen. Even I can do that. Um, what kind of feedback or recognition means the most to you as a creator?
Well, money. No, well, that will mean the most probably, but in the end, as I said, if we stay off the compliments,
Hmm.
I guess what I told you before, like saying that you do something that is very apart from the rest, like you're doing something very that no one else could bring.
Hmm.
I think it's yeah, people who really got it and really appreciated that. It's or even people that say, oh, they say it a lot with Dia, not a lot with Julian. With I'm kind of deluded about that.
Yeah,
But with Dia, they really appreciate someone, not everyone, the difficulty because yeah, it's very hard, but at the same time, it's rewarding. What I already say, no, it's and it's something that's very like you couldn't expect from no one else. Like someone said, um, like you can see that after so many mods and custom campaigns, it starts to be I don't know repetitive, no, because there's only so much you can do with this game, no.
yeah,
That's what they say. But with you, it's always like, no, there's something more I can do. Like you always come up with something. Yeah, I try to make my scenario as if like no one of my scenario I feel like play exactly the same as the other. Like you can't say there's something similar. I would say maybe I'm being arrogant. I don't know, but I feel like it's very different, even to a fault. Maybe sometimes no, because it's very maybe uncommon and people are kind of lost while first playing it. But once you get accustomed, I think it's a very unique experience, I'd say.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
I, by all means, I still agree with you honestly, but yeah, it's a perspective.
Eh,
Um,
It's just the balance, let's say.
nah, it is. Um, do you have any questions for me? Because we're done pretty much. We have already answered,
Yeah.
like you've
No,
already
well,
answered. No, pardon.
yeah, we talk a lot and yeah, one of the question could be, will you feel like
Hmm.
mm, you feel a bit tired or fatigued about like playing custom campaigns because you played a lot I've seen in your channel.
Uh,
And I don't know, maybe you feel like some others are being too repetitive. Apart from balance, that you already clear that I know, but like maybe you would like to see something different. I don't know.
yeah, that's for sure. Um, For me, it is not neither monetary thing because, like I said, I'm someone who actually works 40 hours per week. But currently, I'm right now not working anymore for now. That's why I've been able to rapidly in these days to upload. And I'm still living with my parents, so I'm just still fine. I still have some money as well as savings, and I'm still also trying to work find a new work and all that. And even if I didn't work, I would still be able to continue uploading and creating some more videos. Um and I would still continue my passion to play through these historical figures and all that. But aside from the balancing issues, I still feel not just also the storytelling, which is really shit and all that at times. Um I still feel it very exhausting that it is sometimes that it can be constantly a deathmatch thing with a lack of storytelling, a slideshow that can go very quickly, and me struggling to read through everything without being able even be able to process what I've just read at times too, or
I
how.
know.
Yeah.
That will be changed.
Pardon?
That I will fix definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that's definitely needed. Um, uh, what else? Well, aside from that, the critique that your offer is just taking as granted, or like use from one ear to another. But
Mhm.
yeah, especially when you try to be
So,
very
so
sincere about the
mhm,
thing, as in the
mhm. So
constructive
mother being
feedback.
more receptive of feedback, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. That these feedback are
Mhm.
not taken sincere when they're focused on different things too, or when you're trying to say like, "Hey, I need you to contact me on Discord," and it just falls to deaf ears because I've tried to also mention to many people as well, and they have not really reached me back. But that's just my opinion. I think maybe just they don't like me, but that's okay. Even though, I'm not trying to force them to like me. I'm just trying to say like, "Hey, this is not something people will enjoy. I'm certain of it." And many
Yeah, I
times it
mean,
have.
it's not.
Pardon?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. No, no. I mean, it's just. I know some people maybe don't really not even care about feedback. No, they just
Yeah.
they. I mean, I don't know. I like to discuss with people, honestly, with players and
Mm-hmm.
with you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, one thing doesn't cancel another. Like you can listen and you can disagree. It's not that if you disagree, you must shut up. Not like you can still listen to someone. Something will agree. Again, it's not black and white. Something
Mm-hmm.
will agree and something will not. It's something that an art that people are losing nowadays. I feel like no, if I
Yeah.
don't agree, I don't want to listen to this now. No, why? You're being stubborn, no?
Yeah. Because that tends to really happen. That some people can be very stubborn and all that. Some things aren't just simply not going to work. But if you
Mm,
don't want to, then it's fine by me. And sometimes, like I said, in my opinion, even if it's just not monetary, I think it is personally still good to have compliments given. Because, like I said, compliments given makes one's day as well. And even if that momentary positivity makes you happy, it still boosts to you yourself in your life. And even the smallest things can do a lot of wonder because you're taking it with you through the entire day. Like, if your mood is going to be constantly sour, it's just not going to be a nice life to live in. And that's just going to constantly be demoralizing and all that. And obviously, we all cannot be constantly negative. And that is something that needs to be taught and something that should be pushed away. And that every time we can have some nice positivity as well, which should be really nice. Like I said, for example, my last previous video about that, I've just literally said like, hey, I'm uh the end of my AoE 2 custom campaign journey for now. I've got like one comment over there, and that guy was just really kind. He just literally just complimented and thanked me. And honestly, I've already told him, you don't know what that means because for someone who has like 5.9k videos on his YouTube channel, and again, I'm not earning any money from this aside from the ads, but that's something else. Uh,
mhm.
I don't really do this only for the ads. I mean, for the monetary. I don't play these games simply to showcase it. I'm showing playing this because it's my hobby. I like it. I've also enjoyed it. I've also been able to travel through it a lot. And even if I just had one view, I didn't mind. Even if I had like zero view, I still did it as a hobby. And I'm still doing it. For example, my Kingdom Come Deliverance videos. Many of them don't have even a one view. Do I care? No.
Yeah,
I'm still showcasing it. Why? Because it's my hobby. And that is what I'm trying
yeah.
to also mirror to the other guys. If you cannot earn anything from it, then it's fine. You can continue with it, but then continue. And
Mhm.
if you don't want it, then drop it. Because know this, if you cannot earn something, then don't be hopeful that you cannot. Because that's just going to be a waste of time, waste of effort, and waste of your energy and your health. It's not going to work, my friend. And
Yeah. Mhm.
that is why I've really enjoyed trying to go through. But like I said, there are those who can still offer a compliment, and it's just really just saying that they have not really given, even though I think I deserve it. But I'm not gonna haunt them or haul for it. And
Hmm.
sometimes I also feel very pity that um, their time is just gone to a lot of ways because I know that they can do better. I know that many content creators inside here can do better, especially with what they've shown so far, that they just
Hmm.
don't, honestly. And that's just really what saddens me. It's just a sense of
No, no,
sincere empathy, honestly.
no, no, of course. It's always a lack when you lack a creator or something, but
Yeah,
and a compliment can really make you a day, that's for sure.
exactly.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, depending also on your self-esteem. Maybe there are people that are more like, I think there are people that don't care neither about compliment or insult because they
yeah,
hide the mod discussion, no?
yeah,
Because in your mod you can silence the mod discussion. So I don't like that because even if it's insults, I still want to say what people think of me. It's interesting,
yeah.
And
And that,
of course, if it's compliment, the better. But even if it's some negative, okay, it's me. I mean, you can
yeah,
be like, it's unrealistic, no, to be
yeah,
liked by everyone. And
yeah.
it's interesting even to see what people didn't like, no, if it's constructive, no.
True.
I mean, there are some reviews that are like, and this is an argument a topic we could
Mm,
talk about harassing creators. But I'm not that harassed because, but I've seen a comment, I think it was under the last Cat Scientist campaign, which of course it is, I'm for free speech, like even the most brutal free speech. I think
yeah.
everyone, but at the same time, I saw this comment saying to him, what was wrong with your mother? I don't know. I don't remember what was like. It was very, I don't know, it was like you wanted to beat him. I don't know. So I put myself in the shoes of cat scientist, and I was like, he wasn't making campaign since I think 2 years, and the first comment he sees is this. So one would like to hang himself after this. No, I don't know. It's like it's so brutal. No,
Yeah,
why you are so. I don't know. There was a guy always commenting. I've seen this everywhere in mods that he he based his review if he likes or not the first 10 minutes. So he plays like you make months of work. He plays 10 minutes, and if these 10 minutes he doesn't like what is happening. He just say, "Oh, screw you, fuck you," and he gives you 1 star. I don't know. Again, this is about consumer mentality, It's very like, oh, this I like, this I don't like, this I like, this I don't like. Like you just go on next, and you don't care about people who are doing that, no. Cat
yeah,
scientists, I think, even said on, well, apart from the fact that, yeah, cat scientist, this campaign was a bit too grindy, and of course, it can be bad, it can be whatever you want. Still, I don't know. He's trying to. I don't think he's being evil on purpose. Now it's like trying to make something good, and I think I read in one of his comments under Orlu videos that he want to stop because again because it's pointless. It gets harassed. You don't get anything out of it. No, so
yeah.
it's also I
But
don't know.
that
It's like you're
is
doing. Hmm?
but
Yeah.
that is something that I've also said to him as well. I've multiple times said him as well because I know cat scientist Kitty back in the past that I've definitely offered him that hey, if I don't like this, I'm certain there's gonna be many people who do not like this, and by all means, this is not like you're not forced to do what we are saying, but this is certainly a guideline and already a thing that not many people are going to be agreeing and eventually going to abandon you. And when you feel abandoned, you should not say, hey, I feel abandoned and forced down because we don't like it. We're not trying to bully you, but hey, we're having difficulty, we're having frustration time. And if you do not have pity, why should we have pity? There's like a action
Oh no,
reaction
but
kind of thing. And
you're putting it constructively.
Yeah,
but I was meaning people that just say, "Oh, you and your mother." Oh, there was a guy saying me. What did he say? Oh, this is one of the most boring and modes I ever played lately. So ever or lately? Apart from that, well, shut up. This is not true. Like you're just probably you just had problems with it, and so you had to shit on it. I don't think it's boring. Honestly, he just wanted to shit on it, no? So
yeah,
it's okay, of course, because everyone can say what they want. They be honest, no? Like,
yeah,
oh, if you had troubles, say you had troubles. Don't play the alpha male saying, oh, no, it's not that I have troubles, it's you. I mean, you're honest in this. You say, I had troubles, and please change this. That's okay, no? It's constructive, no?
yeah,
But if someone say, "Oh, you son of a bitch," how you dare even think about it? Oh, fuck you! I mean, you're not my mother. I mean,
yeah,
that's not the way. Let's say.
yeah. And that's definitely not the way that it should be done. And that's really that I've been trying to advocate because again, um, and it is something that cat scientists have gone through a lot because I've seen things like for you, you might have experienced a few times, but I think cat scientists and all that has experienced it a double that time, honestly, and I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it can. I agree that some cat scientist campaign. I played them all. Like I played even Conquista. That is
Yeah,
very hard.
yeah,
And
man,
and at the same time, I will never spit of him because maybe because I'm a modder, so I know what is going through now. So it's like I don't think he does this on purpose.
yeah.
It's just misguided, maybe at worst.
I don't
So
know.
it's, I mean, why? Why you have to ruin his life, his career, just because? I mean,
Yeah,
it's an internet thing because internet doesn't favor empathy because we are so far apart now. We don't see each other in the eyes anymore.
true.
Because, and it's also a thing that about a lot of people are cowards on the internet
Yeah,
because it's very easy to say something like that
yeah,
on the internet. No, just come to say it to my face. I don't
yeah.
think you will know. And
I mean,
so that's the problem. But it's a problem more with the internet than with the game. No?
yeah. I mean, yeah, I fully agree with you. It's just some issue that needs to be addressed by him and all that. And it's just pity that, yes, at times, even with these lately Henry the Lion kind of thing, even many people find it difficult. And we've already seen that. And again, like I always say, just adjust it a bit. Come on, that's not too
Yeah.
hard. That's why I personally have
No,
said
no, that's true. But
I'm glad that
yeah,
I've currently finished like viewing.
it's also my policy on the internet to
Mm,
never, even when I disagree totally with someone, I never harass him. Not because I'm good or want to be good, but because I think it's so vile, no?
yeah,
He can't just reply to me. He can I prefer to insult someone when I look at him because it's also easier not to get a reaction to kind of. But on the internet, you have all the time to think, what's wrong with you? You know, like it's just I don't I really don't like it. It's not a moral thing because I don't care about morals. It's
yeah,
just it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel honest.
yeah,
So it's too easy. Also, oh,
yeah. I
it's not
get you.
good.
Nah, I mean, I get you, and I agree with you. But I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't have
see,
anything else to say about that. As I've said, I've been able to, and how should I say? I'll just move on to get how they call it to do all the things. Like I said, I've already finished my journey in
yeah,
there. I might only be playing some
yeah,
selective campaigns from now on because I've pretty much finished it and I've made the community
mm,
proud and many people are grateful. Well, I've already had some DMs and all that. And like I said, that previous comment was really meaning to a lot for me. And that is what I've tried to do.
mm,
And I've put the showcase thing and all that done. So I'm dropping the mantle as well from that side. I
yeah,
just really hope and I still wish that the other creators will still try to adjust the difficulties while and focus on fun. Even if it seems so simple, that thing is simply
hmm
what we as gamers want. We want to have fun, simple, even if it's just like
hmm
spit storytelling and all that, historical remarks, like I always advocate. That's what matters. Yeah. If you have no
I
other
think they will.
question, yeah. I mean, I
Uh,
doubt it. Honestly, I've not really seen too much about that. Just a very selective few with you and
yeah,
Christopher and other
if
people among it, but some people
mm,
have not. I'm not gonna say name, but
mm,
whatever. Either way, if you have no other
unless they
questions, huh?
other question. Well, uh, I don't know. What would you like to see next in the game? Maybe.
For the next game, I honestly personally would like to see more Sifs.
Yeah. No,
No, I
me
mean,
too.
no, more Sifs as well. I enjoy them, but I would certainly say before you upload them, make sure they're well balanced as well and more innovative
Okay.
ways of
Mm.
animations, honestly, as well, and change the voice acting exactly for the Wu and Urchins and all that, and Kitans, because I'm sure they didn't speak the same language like the Chinese.
Yeah.
And yeah, nothing comes up for
Mm.
my mind right now, but those are definitely some changes I would like to have for now. And
Mhm.
yeah,
I
and
know there's a particular region or historical period maybe you prefer.
I think I definitely like the nomadic ones definitely a lot, and also, as I said to Crystal, I think I would like to have some more in Central America, for example, with the Cherokee, etc. Something those would be very nice, the native ones, not just only for
Yeah.
Mesoamerica or South America, but the central
Yeah.
ones as well. And
Two piece I think opened the door to a lot of native people. I think.
true, true. But yeah, that's just it. I think I don't have anything else in mind right now.
Well, we chat
Um,
quite a lot. It's almost 8 p.m.
yeah, we should wrap this up. It was
Yeah.
still a nice and a pleasure to talk with you.
Sure.
For those
Me too.
who've also on YouTube have enjoyed this, feel free to drop a like, and you know, we will be seeing you guys in our next video.